17th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Jet Home Loans. And now, not only will she bring a new level of intelligence to this broadcast, she's got hair. Kainane
The bar was set very
Stevens.
high in some ways, but very low in other ways. Welcome in. I'm Kainane Stevens. I'm here for our first edition of Happy Hour on Monday of the 2026 season. And we're taking the place of JP Shadrick, who has taken his talents to the desert. We will miss him very much.
Who?
And it's next woman up around here. So I'm going to do my very, very best. And we have a very special day because Pete Prisco here with us in person. Austin Lane, of course, with us as well. And we're going to do our best. We'll make this into something a little bit different now.
But we don't. Who are you talking about, JP? Who is that? I don't know who that is. Austin, do you know who that is?
I mean, I believe he was here for an extended period of time. I think we worked together a little bit for a year, and then he decided to put up the deuces
away,
and say,
Austin.
I basically drove him away. What do you think, like the...
11 years, right? We were together, I think we were 11 years.
I mean, he was here when I got drafted and everything.
And so the 1 year you did the show and then he left? You did
1
drive
year.
him away.
I mean, I literally
Dark
drove him
times.
away for what? Just to say, that's love for 3 yards? That's love for 2 yards? Like, is that all he's going to be doing in the box with the Arizona Cardinals or not?
Well, probably until they get a quarterback.
There we go. Maybe soon. A lot coming up today. Obviously, we finally have a preseason game to talk about, but coming up, presented by Deep Eddy Vodka, handcrafted with real fruit, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, it's Monday, August 17th. It was a slow start, a good finish for them, at least a little bit of what we saw in that preseason matchup. They did have a joint practice as well with the Saints in New Orleans, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And the O-line issue, which at one point wasn't that serious, has become a little bit more serious after another injury in that game. And of course, we'll keep it real, as we always do. So welcome into this edition. We're going to talk a little bit about that game. And it didn't start off really great, Pete, because right off the rip, special teams was had a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, kick the ball into the end zone.
I know how you feel about special teams.
Kick the
That's
ball
true. You
into
don't
the
like the
end zone.
kickoff at all.
Yeah. I mean, look, you get one of those run back on, maybe you start thinking about putting it into the end zone.
Yeah, and shout out to Jalen Husky, who kind of got bogged down a little bit, ended up making a great play to save the touchdown and everything, but it started with Jalen Husky and it ended with Jalen Husky as well. Like, listen, this is literally the first live reps going to the ground I feel like the Jaguars have had all preseason, because usually even in special teams, they're tagging up and everything. So this might have been a little bit of a wake-up call to be like, hey, we're not just hand on the hip anymore. This is actually live reps we're going to the ground.
And then, bang, they went in and scored.
Immediately after it, and it was a missed tackle, I think, by Muhammad as well on the goal line. Or it was a couple
Couple
errors
guys.
right
Couple
off.
guys.
There was a couple people. I don't want to just name one name, but also the thing with Husky, if you mess up, at least he's got the speed to get back there and get the tackle.
That's a good
so
sign.
That was important.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a rookie. We have to give him some credit for that. But how do you feel about the backup quarterback situation, Pete? Because I know all of us, we would appreciate watching maybe someone else. I know it's probably a good place to be where the backup quarterback is your biggest issue, maybe, but it was tough to watch at points.
I mean, he's a helium balloon. I mean, that's what he is. I mean, Nick Mullins throws helium balloons. I mean, they stay in the air for about a half hour. I used to say there were other guys in the league that were the helium balloon. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick played a long time, and he threw a lot of helium balloons too. But this is not good. And if you're the team, you got to start thinking about what your options might be. Now, there's the whole theory of if you play your backup quarterback, you're dead anyways. If it's a long period of time, but you might need him for a game or two. You hope not, but you might need him for a game or two. And if that's the case, I don't know if he's capable of going in there and doing it.
I mean, that's what it's going to come down to, right? Like, everyone's got the whole Nick Foles miracle season in mind in Philly. Like, that was an anomaly, right?
The greatest accident in the history of the National Football League.
The greatest accident possibly, right?
And then he came to Jacksonville.
Then he came here and they paid him. Wow.
If you look at the numbers last year, I believe it was 1/3 of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL were out at least 1 or 2 games, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 33% chance where, knock on wood, that your quarterback might be out. So, can Nick Mullins win you games?
No.
Probably not, right? And you saw Carter Bradley come in with his arm, and it was a night and day difference, right, in terms of the arm strength, arm talent. Now, did Carter Bradley play a perfect game? Absolutely not, but he's still a young guy, and I like how he got off to a rough start, but then responded pretty nicely, I felt like.
You got to remember, it's all vanilla. So for a guy like Carter Bradley, he goes in there, he's going to see vanilla coverages. And Nick Mullins would have seen everything. I mean, he's played in the league and stuff. The difference is, I think a year ago, it was nice to have Nick Mullins in the room because you were learning a new offense. Right. And he was a big guy that could help, in terms of that offense, he could help Trevor Lawrence. But you don't need that anymore. So if that's the reason you kept him in there, then I think you have to make a change. And look, I don't think maybe their backup quarterback isn't on the roster. I mean, that's a possibility too.
Yeah, they could go elsewhere. We can talk about if there's someone that might pop up. I don't think they're really looking into it, to be honest, though, because, Pete, I think they are kind of that philosophy of building around Trevor Lawrence, and that's kind of what it is, right or wrong. That seems to be
But if you get 2 games or something, if he went down, you have to have a guy that's capable of going in at least and giving you a chance to compete. I don't think Mullins can do it.
Pete, let me ask you this. A guy by the name of Gardner Minshew might be on the block. Would you bring him back here?
Well, he's better than, let's put it this way. I'm not a big fan of Gardner Minshew, but he's better than Nick Mullins. How about, you saw 2 in New Orleans that are backups? One of those guys.
Yeah, neither of them.
Anthony Richardson's a name that's getting thrown around a lot. No,
he doesn't fit anything. He doesn't fit anything they do. How about Will Levis? He played for Liam Cohn in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he got
they would never
Will
trade
Levis
him
to look good. So
I don't think they would trade him inside the division.
Probably just out of spite, yeah. But if they let him go.
Yeah, I liked Will Levis, so I'm partial to him. I think if he might be one of those guys that goes somewhere else, gets his career back on track, much like Sam Darnold, those kind of guys do, and I think he may be able to play in this league.
Austin, anybody stand out to you on defense? Any flashes? We've been hearing about some of these defensive ends, some of these edge rushers.
Yeah, so what I was really watching was the safety position, because to me, they had their starters already in place. But you got Lane, you got Husky, and then you got Caleb Ransall, who I was really excited to watch because we didn't get to really see him last year. That, to me, is going to be an important position because I want to see a lot of dime this year out of this defense. And if that's the case, one of those guys has to step in. I don't think really any players set themselves apart in that safety group. I liked what Husky did, and Husky looks the part. Like, in terms of size and stature, you want to talk about if you're going to be in a dime package, bring a guy in the line of scrimmage to kind of help that run game a little bit. I feel like Husky has that. Ransall, his speed was prevalent and everything, but I didn't really see a giant splash play from Ransall at all. But I was watching with a microscope with those safeties, and they all did their job. Just I don't think anybody really stuck out per se.
No. But they'll all make the team.
Of course, yeah. But my biggest thing, though, Pete, is who's going to be the guy that's going to come in on dime packages?
I think Ransall will be that guy.
Okay.
I do. Ultimately, I think Ransall will be the guy. And we talked about it before the show. That's why you can't keep 3 Sam linebackers. If you're going to play a ton of dime, you're not going to keep all 3 of those guys.
The roster spots are becoming thin.
Yeah. But as far as the defensive line, and I watched the tape, one of the things that stood out to me was Regis can rush the passer. I'm worried about him in the run game. He got pushed around a little bit.
He's a big man, but he's not an NFL big person
he's
yet.
Short.
He will be, I think, next season once you put some more muscle and weight on. I think
he got pushed around, and I don't know if you noticed.
No, he definitely did. But it's one of those things where I just think he's trying to find his ground a little bit because you saw the athleticism.
Wow,
Dude's a freak athlete, right?
He could take off,
and everyone's got their preconceived notions of what a nose tackle is, right? Just 2 gapping and everything, not being that viable of a pass rusher. I thought he showed great balance. I thought he showed great get off getting the quarterback. And I think Rukaroro is another guy that's not getting talked about enough simply because right now, according to the depth chart, he's 3rd on that list. But I thought Rukaroro showed a lot too. And keep in mind with him, he's still learning how to play the game. Didn't really play it in high school, got a late start in college, finds himself in the pros now. And there's I interviewed him a couple weeks back. He's still learning the game. Right? So this is where these preseason reps, especially in the game, mean a lot to a guy like Rook because he's still learning the system, but also learning how to play defensive tackle.
I thought Green had a couple rushes. Yeah. I think Green's got some ability. I think he's a guy to keep an eye on this year. And Williams had one rush. He got off the edge, but I think he's more of a project, maybe down the line guy, and it's going to end up being a good run defender.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's ever going to be a great pass rusher.
We're not going to fully cut the roster today or anything, but there's a lot of guys that they're kind of excited. I'm sure you could, Pete. We'll just put all the names out. You just cancel the rest of training camp. Pete will cut the roster down today. We're good to go. I loved that they played them a lot, but those rookie wide receivers, I've loved seeing them in practice. It's almost every day Josh Cameron does something that's really impressive, and he's one of those bigger physical guys that they've been wanting on offense that they haven't really had in the last couple of years. And then also CJ Williams, who's just super smart, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that Trevor really trusts, that Trevor has mentioned him before, just kind of always being around and in every meeting, kind of taking notes, following up. But they flashed a little too.
Yeah, and again, I think they're both. I mean, you look at that team, that roster right now. You know who's making the team pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, you got Brian Thomas. You got because you remember it depends what they do because Travis Hunter can play both, so he counts as a defensive.
I think they'll
back.
Count him as a DB for purposes of this roster.
So if you're going to keep the wide receivers, you got Thomas, Myers, Washington,
Cameron and Williams.
Right. There's
and
your
that's
five.
Your five.
And
then Travis Hunter,
will
wherever
be
you
the
put him.
six. Yeah.
Yes.
That's your team right there. So,
Yep.
I mean, want to go to the tight ends? We can do them too if you want to. 4. You keep 4 there.
How did the rookie tight ends look to you out there?
I thought Borkacher had some good blocks in the run game, but nobody ever talks about that. But he did. He actually had one. He hooked the guy and got him and moved him out of the hole, which I thought was impressive against it was a Sam linebacker, I think.
Yeah.
And then what's his name?
Koziel.
Koziel. I think that's how you say it. But because I've heard it 2 different ways, but he will get a lot of jump balls like they threw to him, and he's going to be a factor in the red zone. I think he's going to actually be pretty good in the passing game.
He's looked good in offensive drills. He's the one that kind of like goes up and gets it a little bit more so than Borkacher. They've tried to use both of them, but I feel like you've noticed him a little bit more, or he came in more like pass catch ready, I guess.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
The question with him is, can he block it? He got beat bad on one play, and a guy came right inside him as he's trying to block the edge.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, though, if he's willing, he can become a better blocker.
And I think he is.
And I think and they think he is too. So if he's willing, he'll be okay.
Yeah, you don't need him to be like a Rob Gronkowski, lower your head, put him in the chest plate, and move him back 5 yards. Like there's the physical types of blockers, and there's like the finesse kind of like crafty blockers. And I can see Tanner Koziel being one of those crafty type of blockers. And I talked to Bretton Strange about this too. Like, keep in mind who these guys are going against every single day in practice. They're going against Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines Allen, BJ Green, right? Like these guys are hungry and everything. So seeing those reps day in and day out, it's only going to get them more ingrained for when those real reps start coming in.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are guys in the league, and somebody here mentioned Parkinson to me, and he was not when he came out of college, he was not a great blocking tight end, and they were worried about it, but he's made himself into a willing blocking tight end, and he's gotten good enough at it. I think that's what you can get out of him. I think you'll get there. Now, Borkacher can be the Rob Gronkowski type blocker. That's what he is. Now we got to see him in the passing game. I think there's been moments out here, you guys have seen it. When I watch what I saw in the spring and stuff, he can get open. And so I think now they just got to use him in the passing game.
Does he need to have an impact early for the draft pick to make sense, or does it not matter once you're on the team?
It's funny you asked that, because when I went around, the league and I was making some trips around training camp, and guys were coming up to me and go, "Boy, Jacksonville drafted that guy way too high." And I said,
we'll see.
I liked him. He was on my better than team. I really liked him, and I had, in fact, both those tight ends were on my better than team of guys I like more than most people did. Was he drafted a little high? Sure he was, but they had intel, I think, that teams behind them were going to take him.
And it started a tight end run. It did.
Denver, Houston was interested. There were teams interested in him. So, look, if he's a bust in 3 years, it was too high. If he's a tight end that's catching 35, 40 balls in a good offense and maybe blocking like a mule and getting 5 or 6 touchdowns, then it's a great pick. So we'll see.
Yeah, see, Kai, here's the thing with it, right? Because we can talk about consensus boards and fantasy football, right? So the consensus board would say, okay, I'm going to need Nate Borkacher to go out there and get 5 touchdowns on the season, 30 receptions. I don't need that from him. Like what I need this team to do is be a top 10 rushing team. Yeah. And if they're going to be part of that, because that's why he was kind of brought here as well, to kind of bring that mentality in the blocking game, if they can become a top 10 rushing team, then you know what? I think it was worth the pick. Like, fantasy stats be damned.
They're going to have a problem.
With what?
With who's on the field. And I told Liam Cohn this.
A good problem, then.
That's a good problem.
Yes.
That's what he said. He said it's a good problem to have. But can you imagine, okay, you have 3 receivers that can be a legitimate, not counting Hunter. You put Hunter on the field, that's 4 who could be legitimate players in the offense. If you go to the 3 tight ends, which everybody in the league is going to start using this year, 13 personnel, which receivers on the field and which one's sitting on the sideline complaining about it? If I'm Parker Washington and I got a contract on the table right now,
I want in.
Your numbers might not, as great as he's been, his numbers might not be indicative of what a guy making that kind of money would be. So I think there's going to be an issue at some point. It's like you said, it's a pleasant problem to have.
Absolutely.
But you used a second round pick on a tight end. You have Strange, who's a factor in the passing game and a good blocker, and they're going to use Koziel in the passing game as well. So there's 3, and then you have all those receivers. So who's going to get the football?
I mean, you still have to ask too if Travis Hunter is going to go in, who's coming out first. Like, that's still a conversation that has to be had as well.
If you're not in 13.
Because you aren't going to go 4 wide receivers.
Right.
So you're going to have 3 wide receivers out there. Who's coming out if Travis Hunter goes in? You going to tell Parker you're coming out?
And here's the other part of that. Okay, say if Brian Thomas is going to continue to do what he's been doing all off season,
you
he ain't coming out. He's the
and you just paid Jacoby Myers. So is he coming out?
he's the security blanket in the middle of the field.
That's what I'm saying, man.
We're going to do that winning fixes everything thing. I think that's what they're going to go for.
I don't buy that.
Then it's
There's
fine.
no such thing as winning fixes everything. You know what fixes everything? A new contract. That's
Money.
what fixes
Do
everything.
you think that gets done before the season starts, Pete?
If I were them and I were him, I would get that done. And the reason I say that is, with Parker Washington, it's such a small body of work, and yet you look at the numbers around the league where the contracts are, and you say, if I'm him, I'm saying I want that. But I don't think it's going to get to that. You know,
I disagree.
What do you think it's getting? Because I think the 16-17 is about the number.
There's no way, Pete. Well, you're going to pay him $17 million a year?
I think that's what they want to pay him roughly.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
I think he'd
I
probably
want
like 21, 22.
Sure.
And so you meet in the middle.
So here's where I think things got a little messed up. And it almost reminds me of the Christian Kirk year when the Jacksonville Jaguars paid him. Once Alec Pierce got paid what he got paid, and it wasn't necessarily based off of a resume, it was based off of what we hope he can be in the future, that reset the entire market. Because then look at Christian Watson from Green Bay. Like, ask any Packer fan. They like him, can't stay healthy. So you're paying a guy based off of what you believe he can be. This is Parker Washington. Like, you're going to pay Parker Washington based off what we think he can be going forward. And yeah, it helps that he's here at 4 o'clock in the morning or having sleepovers or everything. Like, he's had a great off season where there's a lot of hype around it. But you got to pay him now based off of, well, we think he can be a wide receiver.
Is he the number one wide receiver?
No, I mean, he's 1B.
Who is the
one
number
C?
one wide
There is not, and then that's the beauty of this offense.
So you're going to
Pete.
pay him? I don't.
Pete,
is he going to get more money than Myers?
He has to. Because
I don't think they're going to go past that.
Well, in terms of punt returning, in terms of his age and everything, in terms of how much Trevor Lawrence likes, like.
But you got to admit, it's a small sample. You're paying him on a small sample size.
Here's what I'm going to watch if I'm Parker's people. I'm watching what Michael Wilson gets in Arizona because I think it's comparable. Michael Wilson is due for a new contract, and they're going to pay him based off literally maybe like 8-9 games, right? If I'm Parker's people, I'm waiting to see what Michael Wilson gets. And if Michael Wilson gets in the round like the $21, $22 million range, then guess what?
Would you rather have Christian Watson or Parker Washington?
I'm taking Parker.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm taking Christian Watson. I think
With the
Christian Watson,
injuries?
when he's on the field, he's special. Now
well,
the injuries
let's
are a
stay on
factor.
the
Don't
field,
get me
though.
wrong.
That's part of the deal, though, because Parker will go out there with a broken leg probably.
Yeah,
so
Parker's-
you have to think about
What
that
time
too.
does Christian Watson get into the stadium every day, Pete?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he
I'm
works
just
at it.
Not
He
turning
just
the
always
lights
gets
on
hurt.
at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
We can talk more about that
We will,
contract
we
because
will.
I love the kid, but you got to admit there's some small sample size
There's
risk
definitely a
involved in it.
conversation to be had about it. We're here on Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by Jet Home Loans. Stay with us. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about some of the O-line issues and whether this could be a long-term problem.
Dreamfinders Homes was recently named the #1 home builder in Jacksonville. They have 30-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida, which is why the Jaguars have proudly called Dreamfinders their official home builder since 2014. DreamfindersHomes.com is where Jags fans can shop for their dream home and find out what makes Dreamfinders #1 in Duval. Beautifully styled, quality built, ready to move in homes at the best prices. Shop now at DreamfindersHomes.com and go Jags.
Game day means it's time to get loud, get proud, and get real. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Deep Eddy Vodka brings real flavor made with real ingredients to every tailgate, watch party, and post-game toast. Handcrafted in small batches in Austin, Texas, Deep Eddy Vodka is distilled 10 times and is made with purified Texas water, real fruit juice, and pure cane sugar. Wherever you're cheering on the Jaguars, make every moment a real one with Deep Eddy Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stay drink responsibly. Deep Eddy Vodka is a product of Deep Eddy Distilling Company, Austin, Texas. 35 to 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round-trip airfare for 2, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents for the United States and DC 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA, member FDIC.
Jacksonville Builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nationally ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Frank Frangie here. When you think of barbecue in Jacksonville, it's got to be Bono's Pit Barbecue. For over 75 years, Bono's has been smoking Jacksonville's favorite barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So go to bonosbarbecue.com or call their fantastic catering department at 904-332-7427. That's 904-332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
2 weeks of good work that we need to take a step in the right direction, both physically, conditioning. We have to practice. Like we're gonna go pads a few times this week. We got the joint. We got the 2 joints against Tampa. So this is the time in training camp that these things sometimes pile up. We're just unfortunately it's at a position in which it's hard to function when you have depth issues and injuries. So.
Welcome back into Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by Jet Home Loans. I'm Kainani Stevens. We're back with Pete and Austin, and the O-line seemed like some short-term issues, but it looked really ugly during the game because Chuma Edoga went down pretty early, and then very quickly did they pull Wyatt Milam and Jonah Monheim, and then it just a bunch of names, and it was really hard to watch. And yes, it's preseason. Yes, these aren't your first-string players, but it's becoming a problem, and it's hard to see the work with the rest of the team when you can't get the O-line straight.
There's some guys on that played in that game that were horrendous. I mean, 62, 66, 61 wasn't great. I mean, it was not a good showing for those backups, and that's concerning. But those guys aren't going to make the team anyways. So if the guys are all healthy, and they're not right now, but if everybody's healthy, those guys that were playing are not making the team.
Correct.
There's no chance that they're making the team. So it's just a matter of if guys get healthy. Now, did he say what the injury was for Udoga?
It's his right leg. They didn't go into it any deeper than that.
I mean, they
just said he should be back in, before the season.
Yeah, they didn't think it was a long-term situation. They said he'll be back. Walker Little, same kind of week-to-week thing. Got rolled up on in the joint practice, or not the joint practice, in the scrimmage practice that they had a couple weeks ago. And they say that they're short-term, but they're also kind of lingering a little bit. I haven't seen Patrick McCary out there at practicing at all. He's off to the side usually. So for me, my concern is when are these people going to start coming back? Cole Van Lanen obviously had off-season surgery. He's working his way back actually from PUP list, but when we're getting close, we got a couple weeks here.
Yeah.
It's starting to be concerning. Walker, what's his injury? What do they say? Lower leg. They're like hockey teams.
Lower body.
It's like the
body.
NHL. Do you ever see the NHL?
Just something. Well, they don't have to put the list out, so they're just like, it's over there.
There's been a
it's
lot
fine.
of NHL things. Remember when the coach was here and he'd substitute Ryan
Oh,
Nielsen?
those were
He'd
dark
substitute like
times.
over the board.
We don't have to do that.
It's hockey. It's hockey around here, but they give injuries like hockey team. Lower leg, upper body.
Yeah.
I think it was his foot or his ankle.
If Walker Little's healthy, he's on the team.
Of course.
Sure. Now, because of Cole Van Lanen. Now, there was some talk about trading if you got through camp, but I don't think that's going to happen. Udoga, I don't think Udoga makes the team if everybody's healthy. I mean, right? Do you?
It depends how many you carry.
I mean,
we talked a little bit about this. Are you having
actually.
9 or 10? So that's kind of where they're at with offensive line as well as what you're going to see. But
I'll tell you what, the guy who played, I don't know if you, Pregnon was fantastic the other night.
Yeah. What did you see from him on film? Because I know a lot of the guys.
Tough, nasty, stayed with his blocks. Now, he sometimes when he comes off, he misses a little bit, and I think he'll get better at that as he figures out the speed of the game. But when the guy's on his nose and right over his face, he moves him.
He's not afraid to hit somebody and take him to the ground either.
No.
Like pancake blocks. And that's the mentality that you want. I believe, I want to say his last 2 years at Oregon only gave up 1 quarterback sack total. So, pretty impressive from that standpoint. With Pregnon, though, and I get the enthusiasm, he's going to be your starter. Then they're going to move Ezra to right tackle if Cole Van Lanen can't come back and then move Pregnon to that starting guard. I'm excited for Pregnon. I think a lot of people are, but you got to keep it within reason. Like that first preseason, the whole point of preseason games isn't to necessarily win a starting spot. It's to get you opportunities to get you more looks. If what I want to see from Pregnon now going forward, whether it's the team practice on Wednesday or then that game on Friday, I want to see him roll with the ones a little more and see what he can do. But I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, that one preseason game against the Saints backups, now he's a starting guard. Like, you still have to earn your spot.
Sure.
But he's off to a good start.
But he was coming on supposedly, too, throughout the camp. And they were getting really impressed with him. And he, like he said, he has that look of the square lineman, the big square physical lineman. You put him next to Harrison on that left side, you're running to the left side a lot. That's a power side of the offensive line. So I do think I didn't think he would start the season right away. Now I'm starting to feel like he might win that job. I think he was going to take it at some point, whether Cleveland was playing left guard or not. I think he was going to take the job from him. But I think he might start the season there. And that would be a good thing. It gives you a physical left side. Then you could, if you have to, you could move Cleveland to the right guard if Van Lanen's back to play right tackle. Yeah. And then the center will be Hainsey to start the season, although I think Monheim has a chance to take that job too.
So like all the young guys.
You got to look at youth. I mean, you got to look at the youth, especially on that position. Once they understand the game, you got to understand how you double, and it's so hard because they don't hit. So if you're doubling against, this, you played, you're doubling against pads, guys in pads. You don't have the speed of the game, so you come off and he's like right there, the pad's right there. Now you got to adjust to it, and that's I think something Pregnon's got to work on.
Without a doubt, but and also you got to keep in mind too, if you're going to bring in some young guys. Week 1 against Cleveland, you feel better at those guard positions than you do at the tackle position, right? Because guards, you have a little more help once in a while, like slap protection. Sometimes if you're a tackle, and depending who you're going against, Jared Verse is a great pass rusher in his own right. Like, you may be on an island out there, right? So I do like the fact that it seems like some of their youth is making a push to that inner, the guards, and we'll see the center position, but the guard for sure. I like that better than the tackle right now.
Pete, do you like that they moved Anton over to left tackle? I know we talked about it for a while, but to actually see it happen.
Yes, I think it was a smart move. And it's good for him. He's in a contract year, too. I mean, he's a guy, if you go play left tackle and you play at a high level, you're going to – right tackle, they say they're the same now because you have a lot of rushers on that side. It's not the same. You're still protecting the quarterback's backside, and I think that's important for him. He goes and plays well there. It's a big deal for him personally, but I think it'd be great for this team too.
I mean, you can sit here and say, okay, right tackle, left tackle is the same, but then you look at the money that you're making at left tackle.
I think that's why he's excited to go over there too. There's a little bit
of a difference, absolutely.
And I heard he's been really good with everything this year. He knows it's a money year.
And keep in mind, if it was for Cam Robinson, he would have been your day one starting left tackle anyways. I mean, that's all he played in college. He played that in high school, but Cam Robinson took that spot, obviously, so they had to move more to the right spot. So, I feel like left is more of his natural position anyways.
They gave him that extension, obviously, from his rookie deal, and I think they wanted to kind of see and challenge him in the sense that I know last year Liam Cohen was kind of like, yeah, he's very talented, he's very athletic, but we need to see it every day. And after that, he really did come in and change, because he did have that one, was it his second year? It was kind of an off year where you didn't see the energy on every play, and it was inconsistent at times, but you're seeing it more now.
You play left tackle for a couple of years like that, you're going to get paid. You're going to get big money deals. Look at Trent Williams. He just keeps getting paid. I mean, it's one of those things.
Juwan Taylor got paid.
I think, I don't know, that's amazing.
Still.
And he, by the way, he stunk in Kansas City. He was a human penalty. Cole Van Lanen can play right tackle. I don't think that's an issue.
Yes.
So I think ideal scenario, Harrison and Cole Van Lanen are your starting tackles.
Yes.
And then you got to figure out, I think Pregnon will end up being the starting guard. I mean, I do. I think he'll be starting guard. And I think you got to figure out what you do at right guard. That would be, to me, where Cleveland hasn't worked at right guard, though, has he?
He did today. Was he at right tackle
today?
He was on the right side today. Yeah.
But has he worked at all at right guard? Sometimes that can be uncomfortable.
Camp that I remember, but he has moved around before, but I don't think that I've seen at this camp.
Okay, because
there's a lot of combos. I mean, we're at the point where we've seen about every combo. So
here's the other question: if Van Lanen's healthy and can play right tackle, and Harrison's the left tackle, and Pregnon is your left guard, what do you do with Cleveland? He's got to be the right guard, or he's not going to play.
And you put him at right guard.
If you think you want Pregnon on the left side,
yeah.
I think Pregnon has the look of that big monster. Everybody
Sure.
likes that
Mahler,
big physical
absolutely.
line. And then the center, I think Monheim is going to push him. I really do. I think he's going to push Hainsey. Hainsey's smart, and so they'll start the season there. It can get a feel for everything. But at some point, Monheim might take that job from him. Monheim was good last year. When he played.
It's more of like it's the craftiness versus like the physicality of Monheim, right? Like Hainsey, he knows what he's doing. He knows the calls and everything like that. So do you err on the side of that more at the center position, or do you go with maybe more of a physical threat? Because, I mean, that's apparent. Like, Monheim's much more physical.
I agree. And last year, like with the backup quarterback, you needed to have the center
for Trevor
to kind of identify stuff. But now you're a year in, so I think you'd like to have the more physical guy, particularly if you talk about you want to run the, you want to run the ball better. And if you're going to run the ball better, you want the physical center.
And they have their new physical running back in Chris Rodriguez, so they're definitely going to try to do that. Thanks for joining us so far here on Jaguars Happy Hour. Coming up after the break, we'll talk a little bit more contracts, what things might look like moving forward.
Dreamfinders Homes was recently named the #1 home builder in Jacksonville. They have 30-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida, which is why the Jaguars have proudly called Dreamfinders their official home builder since 2014. DreamfindersHomes.com is where Jags fans can shop for their dream home and find out what makes Dreamfinders #1 in Duval. Beautifully styled, quality built, ready to move in homes at the best prices. Shop now at DreamfindersHomes.com and go Jags.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the bold city, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are part of it. The Jaguars' First and Forward Development Partner Program highlights the significant transformative efforts made towards the city of Jacksonville. Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, People's Gas, Start Tech, Miller Electric, AECOM Hunt, and WWK, championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward Program, the First Coast Forward Together. Visit Jaguars.com/forward together.
What do you call a group of friends who wear the same jersey for good luck, no matter how old it is, and who support their team through thick and thin, week after week, as if the very season depended on it, while tossing the pigskin and drinking Miller Lite? You call it Miller Time in Jacksonville. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2022 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Watch the game, host your crew, or just unwind at BC Grill and Patio at Sheridan Jacksonville, part of the Marriott family of hotels. Enjoy craft cocktails, tasty bites, and indoor-outdoor seating perfect for watch parties, happy hours, and events. Mention this radio ad for 10% off food and drinks. Visit SheridanJacksonville.com or call 904-564-4772.
I can sharpen, because at the end of the day, you're chasing greatness, you're chasing dominance. You know, every time I came to the sideline, I would get pointers from Trey Josh, go out there and correct it, you know, make sure you get pressure. So yeah, I'm good. It's a good stepping stone, but it's nowhere, I'm not satisfied.
It's BJ Green weighing in on a little post-game after the Jaguars got that last-second win. So we're going to talk about our player of the game, brought to you by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. I don't know if I have a singular player in the preseason, but I did like what I saw out of BJ Green and some of the other pass rushers on defense. And, of course, they held up in the last second to hold on for the win. A little dramatic win. Coach Cohen didn't get his timeout, but they still got the W, which I love because if that play didn't go his way, he was going to be so mad, even though it's the preseason. But it was good to see some of the pass rush out there, whether it was BJ Green or Rook or just some of the guys that we talked about. Strigo had some moments. Didn't see a ton of Durfee, who people have been seeing in camp and thought would flash a little bit more, but I think he's dealing with an injury because I see him off to the side a little bit, and he did dress and go in for some plays, but didn't play much.
I want to say, I think I caught like 5 or 6 reps he got in that game.
But you got to remember, these guys are working against the 62, 66, 61
of
for
the
that
other team. Yes, so they should be getting home.
It's hard to evaluate. It really is.
But you know what, man? It's refreshing to see BJ Green do his thing, because that guy, has been nothing sort of reliable last year, and you see it in training camp. I think it was the team scrimmage he must have had. He had Chase Young type of numbers that you saw Chase Young put up in the Jaguars practice. He had great numbers. So I always tell my son this: if you're gonna have the crazy eye black with one thing down your eye like that,
you better get there.
You better ball out, and he definitely did against the Saints.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy because he looks like he's bigger. And I guess, was I watching an interview you did with him where he stopped eating sugar?
No, but he used to eat a crumble cookie every day, which he told me last year. And I was like, that's making me physically ill just to think about it. And that was like his pregame was 2 crumble cookies, which should not be consumed by a human. Should not be consumed by one human. But yes, he is as well. Him and Travis Hunter, both Colorado products, but both have put on a lot of muscle in the offseason.
BJ Green, somebody told me BJ Green has like one of the fastest takeoffs.
The get-offs of the line? I mean, I believe it. Yeah.
No more sugar holding him back.
Well, I see Travis Hunter said he's giving up Gatorade too because of the sugar.
Yeah,
and everything.
no more junk food, no more sugar.
For Travis?
Yeah, he's cutting out all the junk food, eating better.
I said there goes that endorsement for Gatorade.
You can have 0 sugar Gatorade.
That's a good point,
true.
I guess.
G2s, yeah.
That's probably what no, not G2.
Oh, G2 has the lower sugar. Okay.
You know what's funny? I drink 0 sugar Gatorade, and sometimes I'll try drinking there's nothing there except G2, and even that's too sweet now.
I think the G2 is what actual Gatorade was originally, and then they made it into sugary Gatorade. Sure. I just like the Gatorade in the can every once in a while.
Is there anything better?
It hits for training camp.
It does.
It's just totally different.
Take it right out of the can.
It's colder. It's just something special.
Travis looks good though. He looks like he's gotten in great shape and really looks beefed up, which he needed to do.
Yes, I think physically he doesn't have any limitations that we've been seeing, and then he's also bigger, which going into the NFL he was going to need. So it was nice to. I mean, obviously didn't want him to get hurt, but to actually take that time and hit the weight room the way he did has clearly benefited him.
Well, literally my biggest concern in the offseason was if he wanted to put on weight or not, because you heard he was a little nervous to put on weight because he's played at a certain weight his entire career, right? So now all of a sudden you get to the NFL, they're saying you got to add some muscle and everything, and then as any athlete you're going to be concerned, well, if I put on 10 pounds of muscle, is that going to slow me down? Is that going to hurt my agility? I think it speaks volumes that he's willing to do that because he's bought in fully to this system, which is what you want out of your first round pick.
And that's the factor when people evaluate this team. Mm-hmm. From outside, and I talk to a lot of people, and you read a lot of stuff, and all you hear about is the Texans, and when they evaluate this team, they don't take into account that you're getting a number 1 corner. They didn't have that last year, and when you have a number 1 corner, it shoots everybody down. The guy who was trying to be the number 1 corner, maybe Monteric Brown, he's the number 2, or Jarian Jones might be one of the most improved players in the National Football League over the last 2 years. So the guys that were the 1s are now getting kicked down. The 2s is now the 2, and now he's the 3, and that makes you better at the position. That is lost on everybody outside this place.
Well, it's because Travis Hunter's fantasy points aren't going to be there, right? If he's playing corner most of the time, and that's what it comes down to. People see the highlights. They're not always watching a Jaguars game, so that's where they're tuning into it. So for them, I think there's also a lot of people that, unless he's a Pro Bowler on both sides, it's going to be a failure no matter what, just because they don't like
If he's a true shutdown corner.
It's worth it, in my opinion.
Sure.
It would be worth it.
Yeah. But is that what he wants, though, Pete?
But he's still going to
Travis Hunter. No, but I'm saying, name me the top 10 corners right now in the NFL. Well, if you can maybe name 5, but I can name
if he's Patrick
10
Surtain,
wide receivers.
let's just say this right now. If he's Patrick Surtain.
How many commercials does Patrick Surtain have right now?
But he's still going to get plays on offense, too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, from if I'm Travis Hunter, yeah, I'm going to be a shutdown corner, but I still want my reps scoring touchdowns and doing all that, too.
We forget what he did in his last game as a wide receiver against the Rams. He was phenomenal.
Finally had his breakout game as a wide receiver.
So, and I've heard that he's been good as a wide receiver in the summer. You guys watch it more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's going to get reps at wide receiver. Sure. So if he's a shutdown corner and he scores 6 touchdowns and does it in electrifying fashion, he's still going to get all those commercials.
No, I hear you. And listen, I'm with you. I want to see more on defense than I do on offense, selfishly. Because, and I said this last year, how many times we watched the Jaguars last year towards the second half of the season without him in and said, we need him on offense? We're pretty good with Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers and Brian Thomas Jr. How many times you watch the Jaguars defense and say, man, if we had Travis Hunter out there right now taking that one?
Well, that Bills game, I definitely thought it. I know that for sure.
Yeah, Keon Coleman going off out of nowhere. That was crazy.
That was rude. I didn't actually want to go back to that.
Sorry.
But as far as camps go, what I've been impressed with, obviously he's physically superhuman. He's crazy, but he's also been picking things up, I think, a little bit more, having a full year with both playbooks, because he's got 2 playbooks to learn. Defense is natural for him, but I know he's in the virtual meeting room and he's always working out there with extra, with coaches working out extra. And I feel the mental is finally getting there. Just the little things when you go to the NFL, obviously picking up that kind of a playbook, and a complicated one for Liam Cohen's offense, it takes time.
Well, and they wanted him on offense last year because it is harder to learn the offense. He, defense he can learn, and he has learned it, but it was much tougher on the offensive side of the ball. So I think that's where they wanted to get him acclimated early. It wasn't necessarily he was going to be just a wide receiver. He was just learning the offense for most of the offseason because it's tough to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, especially at the wide receiver position, it's hard enough already. Getting off the line of scrimmage, trying to create separation, but then know the motions, to know the snap count, to know that timing. It just, you need reps. Like,
and
that's
how to
all it
read
is.
the coverages on the run.
Yeah,
I mean, there are so many young receivers who come into the league that when they read coverages on the run, it slows them down, and they're not as fast and quick as they will be in their second year. That's why that's why they're excited about him as a wide receiver in his second year, because he knows the offense and he's going to play a lot faster. And he played pretty fast in that last game against the Rams.
As opposed to defense where it's like, all right, you see that wide receiver, go cover him.
And when you do that, that enables you to do stuff on the other side of the field where you don't have you can match him on a wide receiver on one side and play your zone coverages on the other side, do some stuff off of that. I think Campanile is going to be even more creative this year with what he can do. Last year they played a lot of zone behind everything. I think with him out there, you can play man and you can zone it up on the other side. You can get really creative. I think he's going to have a great year calling defenses.
Interesting you say that. I talked to Trevor Lawrence for our TV meetings last week before the game, and I asked him kind of who was making it hard for him on defense this year, who was kind of flashing, and he gave me a couple names, but he also said just in general, the new wrinkles they've added to the defense, he said, have been really difficult for him and challenging him as a quarterback. He's excited to see how it looks on other people. He says for himself, he feels like it's helped him grow a lot in training camp. But what camp has been able to do this second year, now that everybody knows it, they've added a lot of different things, and he feels like even he, who goes up against it every day, is picking up new stuff. So I think having both coordinators back, I know we've touched on it before, but that has just been so huge for this team because they overachieved in that year one, and both of those guys had head coaching interviews, but to have them both back has been huge.
It's funny you say that about Trevor, and like I mentioned to you guys, I'm working on a big story on what has happened to the NFL passing game. The numbers last year were the lowest they were since 2007 for yards per team. And you would think that this would be an era where we're seeing more passing, but the defense is ahead of the offense now. And it's up to the offense to try and get it back because they have so many exotic looks. And, we talk about Campanile and his exotic looks. But, like, I'm in Buffalo. Jim Leonard has a ton of exotic looks. You go, you talk to the coaches and the quarterbacks. And I talked to a bunch. I talked to Trevor. I talked to Liam. It's so complicated now because you come to the line of scrimmage and they're rotating as you're snapping the ball, and you think you see, it used to be a guy would go in motion and you'd have a man indicator if he went with him. Well, now they go with him and they play zone off of that. So the indicators are different. It's so much more complicated. And Trevor said it's hard to adjust to it, like he mentioned to you. What's his name? Was Josh Allen was talking about how tough it is. It's hard.
Well, and I wrote this actually in an article for Jaguars.com when everyone was talking about, okay, 12, 13 personnel, they're going to copy the Rams. I think they're going to copy the Rams on defense as well. The Rams ran dime defense over 30% of the time last year in the NFL. And you mentioned it, Pete, like the defense is far ahead right now than where the offense is. It's because the safety position. Where safeties now, they're more athletic, they're bigger, faster, and stronger, and they're almost like another linebacker, right? So if you look at what Coach Kemp's trying to do this year compared to last year, I think he wanted to be more dynamic last year, but that Texans game I felt like was kind of the litmus test where guys got out of position. It was Davis Mills, right? Ran that touchdown in to win the game. Yeah, Davis Mills runs that touchdown and everything. And after that game, they simplified stuff. And it worked. Like, they were great in the run game. They were okay in the pass game. I expect this year, if the defense take a giant step forward, you're going to see a bunch of guys standing up on the defensive line. You're going to see more exotic looks because that's where the NFL's going now.
Plus, you had Dewey playing in concrete. You can't, every time, shoo, over the top, Seattle, shoo, Rams over the top. He was playing concrete.
Yeah.
Well, he's reunited with JP now, and they're in the desert, so that's good. Friday's game brought to you by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're getting back in Everbank Stadium this week to take on the Panthers on Friday, and Coach Cohen says you're going to see some of the starters. We'll talk a little bit about that after the break, and when we return here on Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Dreamfinders Homes was recently named the #1 home builder in Jacksonville. They have 30-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida, which is why the Jaguars have proudly called Dreamfinders their official home builder since 2014. DreamfindersHomes.com is where Jags fans can shop for their dream home and find out what makes Dreamfinders #1 in Duval. Beautifully styled, quality built, ready to move in homes at the best prices. Shop now at DreamfindersHomes.com and go Jags.
Football and Duval. What a perfect pairing and battle cry. When it comes to a tasty tailgate, the Dailies Duval Sub delivers. It's your perfect pregame meal on Jaguars game day. My favorite, the Duval Sub. Ham, turkey, cheddar, and habanero cheese. Fixins fresh and delicious. Touchdown, taste buds. It's the best sub for any season, especially Jaguar season. The Duval, only at Dailies.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Big news, Jacksonville. Seabreeze Propane is now a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And to celebrate, meet Tank the Turtle, the Seabreeze mascot.
Put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play.
Tank, you're a turtle.
Exactly. Nobody runs out the clock like me.
Let the Jags handle football. Seabreeze handles propane service and delivery for homes and businesses. New customers call Seabreeze and get $50 off your first propane delivery.
Now that's what I call a strong opening drive.
Seabreeze Propane. Slow mascot. Fast delivery.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For more than 30 years, CSI Companies has partnered with healthcare and technology organizations nationwide. From consulting on strategic projects to staff augmentation and workforce solutions, they help organizations navigate complex challenges with confidence. Learn more at CSICompanies.com. That's CSICompanies.com.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
It was good. I thought the communication was solid. Thought Grant did a nice job kind of settling at halftime. I've been in those moments where you're not a lot's working and you're frustrated and you don't really have a ton to go to. And it was really just like, let's just go downhill and just run it and get downhill. And I thought he did a nice job of mixing it up when he needed to. And he was calm, cool, collected. I was happy for him.
Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen giving his offensive coordinator Grant Udinski the, luxury gift. I mean, when you have these players out there, I don't know if it's as much. You have to be a little more creative, maybe. But he lets him call plays throughout the preseason, so give him that opportunity. Obviously, he's been out on head coaching interviews, and now he'll have those reps as well. And with some of those guys, you got to get a little creative with it.
And I think it's a good thing to give him that experience. Mm-hmm. But Grant, you talk to people all over the league, and he had great interviews. They were like in Buffalo. I know he interviewed up there. They were impressed with him.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to happen this year.
It's a matter of the right fit, probably.
And I think if they're good again, I think both of them are going to end up getting head coaching
I don't
jobs.
think either of them are going to be here very long.
No.
Coach Camp is definitely going to be head coach sooner than later, and I think Grant Udinski as well once he finds the right fit in the right spot. For 12 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory, and go Jags. We are going to check in with Copilot now, brought to you by Microsoft, of course, and I like to check in with AI occasionally, but we wanted to know, when is NFL Cutdown Day this year? And while we do know when it is, also, this is apparently for JP. They still have not. I have not made the cut just yet.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure it's probably still as like
Copilot.
membership.
It should say Copilot. Hey, did JP really do a press conference when he went to Arizona? He did. He did.
He's a big deal.
Did you see that the hands on the podium too? By the way.
Yeah.
Oh, power move by JP.
The best part was him pretending like he didn't want to be up there.
Yeah, right. We know JP wanted to be up there, maybe for an hour longer.
He probably did. Pete, you think you can cut down this team right now, but official cut down day is going to be August 30th. It's 2 days earlier than it usually is. It's on the Tuesday. Now it's on the Sunday night. But Pete, how many roster spots do you think they're actually open right now?
On this team?
Yeah.
Well, if everybody's healthy, it's probably like 4 or 5.
That's more than I don't even know if it's that many now.
The final corner.
Okay.
Is one or two offensive line.
We'll never agree about the linebackers, apparently.
Yeah, maybe one of the linebackers.
Defensive end? Or not? Like
the D line. There's a bunch of questions.
Yeah. So probably
I'm not
4,
really sure where they go with that.
4 or 5. Depending on special teams too. You got that last corner's got to be able to play special teams. The last linebacker's got to be able to play special teams.
Yeah.
They do the one cut now, but I feel like growing up they did the multiple cut. Was it multiple cuts for you, or was it one cut?
Yeah, it was multiple cuts for me. So there's like the first cut down period, and then a couple days later, I guess a week later, then it would be like the final 53.
The first cut down period, everybody that gets cut in the first cut down period, they know they should be cut, and they're getting cut.
Yeah,
That's
kind of just a formality.
The stress level, like you already knew you were out on the first cut.
Like there are guys around the league, and like I told Brandon Bean, the Bills GM, I go, I can cut your team right now, and he goes, can you? And I go, he goes, within 4 or 5, and I went through it, and I said, well, did I? And he goes, yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, because it really is. Even in May, you could basically do it. I mean, you have an idea. Again, it's 4 or 5 guys at the back end who can play on special teams. That's the tough cuts.
I mean, what it is, Pete, it's really the practice squad, right? Because especially now, I mean, anybody can be on the practice squad. Like back when I was playing, if you got some game experience, that's it. There's no practice squad for you. So like that's the incentive now for everyone that's in these preseason games where maybe the writing's on the wall a little bit. Well, can you go out there, put a good film on tape and everything, and maybe get a practice squad spot?
The other part of it is we don't take into account that there might be guys on other teams that can come in here too.
Yeah.
Sure. So you're checking the waiver wires and seeing if you want to grab somebody else and
like
do that.
Like a backup quarterback.
That would be great. That would be great. I think what's interesting about this team too is I forget myself is they're really only in the second year of this. They're still building a roster for themselves. It's like all of those guys came in last year. This is a team they inherited, and yes, they did amazing and probably overachieved in year 1, but there's a lot of places where year 2 is still very much part of a rebuild. So we have to remind ourselves that, and I think like when they go to the draft and they get 2 tight ends, that's something I remind myself with them, like, oh yeah, they're still building around this.
Well, the other part of that, the rebuild happens quicker when your coach and quarterback are it. And I think
when you have that set.
And I think they both have it now. There were a lot of people out there questioning Trevor Lawrence. There were times where you did question him. I think he always had this in him. He just needed to get the right coaching around him, and I think he does now, and he understands the game. And Liam Cohen, the one thing we didn't know, and we talked about this last year, we didn't know how he would handle the room. We thought he'd be a great play caller and a guy who could build great offense, and he can. But how would he handle the room? And everything you hear about him is he's been fantastic with it. He knows when to push, knows when to pull, has a great rapport with his players, but yet he's tough enough and stern enough with them. That's the one thing you don't know. Like guys asked me when I was in Buffalo, how do you think Joe Brady will do? We don't know. I think he's a good play caller. I think he'll put together a good offense. But we don't know how he's going to handle the room and what happens when things go bad, if you have tough situations. Liam Cohen handled that last year. So now you have the coach and the quarterback. Everybody always talks about this team doesn't get back-to-back good seasons. Did they ever have the coach and quarterback? I mean, other than
Fully
when Tom
set.
Coughlin and Brunell were here.
Not in a while.
No.
It hasn't felt like it. Yeah, and I always say this about a head coach, Pete. It's the head coach has to be a direct reflection of the city that he coaches in. And I think in terms of representing Jacksonville, I think that's Liam Cohen. You always get the underdog vibe from Liam Cohen, right? Let's keep in mind where he started. We'll keep in mind where he started from. Duval, right? That's where it started, right? And everyone's, giving him a hard time and everything. And then you fast forward, and now it's like he's this brand new guy, right? And he's got a swagger. There's a bit of an attitude in terms of, people want to say something about him. He's going to bring it up. And that's rare, Pete, in the NFL in terms of, say, like an NFL analyst wants to tweet something. He has no problem using that on the bulletin board.
He's looking for it.
Yeah, some coaches will be like, it's a distraction. We're just going to focus on ourselves. He's the exact opposite. And I feel like that's what the city of Jacksonville is sometimes. Like, okay, we're not Miami, right? Pete, you live in Miami, man. We don't have the glitz and the glamour. We don't have Disney in Orlando. We don't even have, like, Tampa, per se. But, like, we're Jacksonville. It's blue collar. It's hard work. And that's what I feel like Liam Cohen's all about.
And the organization has been just crapped on for years by people outside the city. It has. They laugh about them. They're going to go to London. They're doing this. They're doing that. The stadium's no good. This is no good. Nobody gets Pro Bowl votes. Nobody, Fred Taylor can't get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Travesty.
And it's all because Jacksonville. It's because of Jacksonville. And you're right. He takes that and runs with it. And I think that's kind of what they're building here. It's just like when Tony gets all mad when everybody says consensus board and he starts taking shots all over the place at him. Again, that irritates him, but they push back on it. And I think it's kind of refreshing, to be honest with you.
As much as we poke fun at Tony, he really is the glue that pulled it all together, I think, too, because when you talk about what Jacksonville is, it is a very unique situation. And as much as Liam Cohen fits into that, having Liam here to bridge that, especially with James Gladstone as well, I think is what's made this kind of work perfectly together. And he's adopted the hoodie lifestyle.
Don't give him any credit, please. Do not give that guy any credit.
I work in the building. I still have to be nice.
I don't. Yeah. I'm in the building today, but I'm not giving him any credit.
I know. It's like, you're here today.
I
you have to be nice.
Man. I still have to be nice as well.
He was getting mad at me. We did a little bit of a goodbye thing with JP last Thursday. Was that last or two Thursdays ago? And Tony was getting mad at me because I was bringing up the hoodie again. He goes, "You got an infatuation with my outfit." I mean, he said he wore it. He never wore it before Gladstone got here. He's a liar. And now that Gladstone's here, they both wear it. He wears it. Even Liam wears them now, too.
Yes, they're all very similarly styled. But I think, to be fair to Tony, he's got a new wardrobe. He had to get a new wardrobe.
He did.
I mean, when it's the middle of training camp, though, it's 100 degrees. We still rocking the hoodie?
Sun protection, a little sun hoodie.
I guess.
Yeah.
Pete, you're not getting any sun. I see you with the tan over there, Pete.
Yeah,
you're not rocking a hoodie, are you, man?
We got it.
I got my
shirt off.
Look at that.
Yeah, let them know about it.
See, there's an INT.
Yeah.
We got a whole another hour ahead. Stick with us here for the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Dreamfinders Homes was recently named the #1 home builder in Jacksonville. They have 30-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida, which is why the Jaguars have proudly called Dreamfinders their official home builder since 2014. DreamfindersHomes.com is where Jags fans can shop for their dream home and find out what makes Dreamfinders #1 in Duval. Beautifully styled, quality built, ready to move in homes at the best prices. Shop now at DreamfindersHomes.com and go Jags.
Game day means it's time to get loud, get proud, and get real. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Deep Eddy Vodka brings real flavor made with real ingredients to every tailgate, watch party, and post-game toast. Handcrafted in small batches in Austin, Texas, Deep Eddy Vodka is distilled 10 times and is made with purified Texas water, real fruit juice, and pure cane sugar. Wherever you're cheering on the Jaguars, make every moment a real one with Deep Eddy Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stay drink responsibly. Deep Eddy Vodka is a product of Deep Eddy Distilling Company, Austin, Texas. 35 to 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn.
Hey, Jaguars fans, are you ready for your next adventure? Then it's time to visit Ride Now Jacksonville and Ride Now Beach Boulevard. From motorcycles and side-by-sides to ATVs, boats, and personal watercraft, Ride Now has everything you need for the road, trail, and water. With top brands, great financing options, and a huge selection of parts, apparel, and accessories, there's never been a better time to ride. Visit Ride Now Jacksonville or Ride Now Beach Boulevard today and start your next adventure with Ride Now Power Sports.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round trip airfare for two, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in the United States and DC 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA, member FDIC.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. When you think of barbecue in Jacksonville, it's got to be Bono's Pit Barbecue. For over 75 years, Bono's has been smoking Jacksonville's favorite barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So go to bonosbarbecue.com or call their fantastic catering department at 904-332-7427. That's 904-332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back into the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after game, during the game, Kainani Stevens here with Pete Prisco and Austin Lane. And we finally got some football to talk about, a little bit of football to talk about. It is preseason football, but they actually were in a game, and we had a joint practice with the Saints, which I can fill you guys in on a little bit as well. The first of 3 joint practices we're going to see for this team, as this is kind of the way Liam Cohen wants to go with his squad. First, we're going to open up with the opening drive presented by Target Zero. Let's get everyone home safely. So we'll start out with the game itself. Jaguars able to get another last-second win in New Orleans, similar to what they did last preseason, 24-20 over the Saints. Bad kickoff, sloppy start, not what you wanted to see out of the quarterback play, but they figured it out in the second half. They're like, all right, let's just rush it and figure that out. Some interesting play calling from Grant Udinski. Got that little nifty touchdown there for a Hunter Long, and then able to hold on in the end. And from what we saw out of them in terms of the preseason, those are not the starters, but we will now, from what we're hearing from Liam Cohen, see some of the starters on Friday. But joint practice is so important, Pete. And they were able to go over 2 hours in New Orleans with the Saints. And this week they will have the Panthers in town. But have you seen a lot of other places that have shifted to this focus as well as trying to get the reps in joint practice rather than the game?
I think that's where it's going.
Yeah.
I think the preseason, look, when they go to 18 games, bare minimum is going to be 2, but it might end up being 1. And I think the joint practices are better. And in fact, back in the day, I suggested they should have a joint practice at a place away from the facility. For example, if you went to like somewhere in South Georgia and worked out with the Falcons, and
like we're both there,
like a high school
there.
Stadium, and you drew in some of those fans, because those markets might be a little
between.
untapped. And Tampa and Miami could do it somewhere in between, and other teams could do that, and that way you kind of draw on the fan base, but you give them kind of like it's not a scrimmage, but it's like a practice where you get up tempo and you get it going. So I think something like that would make sense, because I think the preseason stinks. It's awful.
It's not good quality,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
It's not the best quality. This is the player in me speaking, right?
Yes.
Where
You want the reps, you want the development.
Well, yeah, and I truly feel like, whether it's back when I played 2010 or whether it's now, like, they're still creatures of habit. And I think what it feels like to go in that locker, put that game jersey on, get ready for that pregame, and then go on the field and actually take part in meaningful reps in that preseason game, compared to going through a practice against another team with different kind of helmets and everything, it's different. Now, I understand the most important part is keeping your players healthy. And obviously the quarterback and Trevor Lawrence is a huge part of that. But I also don't want you to get your first reps of live tackling against the Cleveland Browns.
Week 1.
Right.
And that's what it is right now. I mean, now we'll see if they, Liam Cohen hinted at they might be playing against Carolina. If that's the case, well, Carolina might be playing their ones as well, because if you watch their last preseason game against Buffalo, 3 and out, 2's go in, right? So they have a lot to prove as well. So maybe you get some great work one-on-ones in that preseason game,
and then don't play anybody play anybody in the last one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, that's different now though, because if you don't play anybody in the last one, then they go 3 weeks without playing
that
football.
same problem you're just talking about. They haven't tackled
3
anybody
weeks
in a
without
while.
tackling anybody or hitting anybody. So it's tough. Now, back in the day, one of the things Coughlin used to do, he'd play him through in week 3. They wanted to make it what it's like to come out of the tunnel and make some adjustments and play in the third quarter.
Oh yeah, even at the start of the third.
Yeah, so it's definitely changed.
Sure.
And there are certain guys that probably, anybody who's a little banged up should never play. I don't think. If
it's not worth the risk.
If it was a regular
Health
season game and you could play with an injury, and you don't play him in the preseason, that's dumb.
Yeah. Well, and like once again, if you're a Foye Lukin, like I'm sure he's seen it all already, right? So do you really need him out there for a whole quarter showcasing his skills? Like, no, you're confident with that. But like, what I wouldn't mind seeing are guys like Tootin, LaQuinn Allen, and Chris Rodriguez, because while it's going to be probably a running back by committee, I don't know who's going to get the lion's share of the reps right now, and we haven't really seen the live reps to say, okay, well, I mean, is Rodriguez going to be the guy? Is Tootin going to be the guy? Like, I got to see some live reps.
I think Tootin's going to be the guy.
I don't know. They really like Chris. I think it's going to be situational. They're going to be as close to as a committee as they can be, I think. And they really like Chris Rodriguez. And they keep saying you're not going to see it until he's got the pads on and he's in a real game. I don't know if we'll see it on Friday.
He's going to be a short yardage guy. He's going to those guys. The home run threat is Tootin.
So, well, here's the thing. And it's ironic because you have the same problem on defense as you do on offense. Whether it's the outside, the off-the-ball linebacker with Branson Combs or Ventrell Miller, or it's Chris Rodriguez and Tootin. You have one group of guys who is all about the mentality and physicality. Ventrell Miller and then Chris Rodriguez. Like, they deliver punishment. And then you have more diverse guys, more guys that can do maybe more things in terms of catching the football or playing coverage like Branson Combs. You have guys that are more versatile. Do you go with more of like the physicality standpoint, or do you go with more of like the versatility? Because that's what it is.
I think I want the home run threat.
You're flashy. You just want the home run at all times.
Tootin's a home run threat.
And
Tootin is a home run threat. Absolutely.
I mean, you go back to the Bills game. Why he didn't get more carries in that game is one of the great mysteries of the year. What did he end up that day with? Like 47 yards on like 4 carries or something like that?
Yeah, but his average, it was really
crazy.
High.
And he didn't get the touches.
But if you listen to what Liam Cohen's been saying, though, they want to be physical. They want to be physical. That's Chris Rodriguez, man.
I think one thing that I have heard is that Tootin has been better in between putting his foot in the ground and going.
And that's what he needed to improve upon.
Because
so
that's
we
tough
just
for
need
him.
to see that.
But ETN was supposedly a good runner between the tackles, and he wasn't, or Achan or whatever his name is now. And he was just okay between the tackles. He was a good football player, but that's another thing that people talk around about the league. Oh, they lost him and Devin Lloyd. That's not losses. Those aren't losses. I'm sorry. They're just not.
You know how I feel about it, Pete, because I was the big caveat of trying to pay him and Travis Achan, or ETN as we're calling him. But I do think it was a loss. I think they're still trying to replace him. Like, I think he was a guy that could run between the tackles and may not have been the prettiest, but he could run between the tackles.
I don't think he was a good runner between the tackles.
But see, I disagree. But also, he was he was an extension of the run game, though, too. When the run game shut down, who was the guy getting all the short to intermediate passes?
But I think you could use the other guy. Yeah, I think
but have we seen
do it in the passing game. I think he can.
Well, you can use Tootin. You're not going to use it. Chris Rodriguez has, what, 6 receptions
yeah, he's
total?
Not. That's not what he
like,
that's why Tootin's a better. That's why Tootin's the starting running back and should be the starting running back. You can use him in the screen game. You can get him outside in space. You can run him. He can give you the big play. And look, he had fumbling issues. That was a concern. He kind of got over those. But I think Rodriguez is a guy who comes in and spells him, and gives the short yardage. You know that when they're 3rd and 1 and you need a guy to make 3 yards, that's him.
I think he might be more of a 1st and 10 guy where you're instead of getting 2, you might get 3, 4, 5, and
I'd rather have 33. I mean, I'd rather have.
Me too, but is that always an option? Part of this is blocking as well too, so I don't want to put it all on them.
I think if you limit yourself to that, you're talking about a grinder back. That's what you're talking about. This team needs home run back. They need grinder back when you need to run.
Sure,
I'll give you that. If you're in the 4th quarter and you need to run, then you give it the grinder back.
I think Tootin's going to offer you obviously more in the pass game, so he's going to get a lot more reps, I feel like. But I'm not going to be surprised if it's week 1 against Cleveland and the very first carry goes to Chris Rodriguez, just to establish that line of scrimmage. Because, listen, when I went to that first padded practice of the
was
training
that the
camp,
first play? They do run first.
The very first play was Chris Rodriguez, and it was really the Caleb Ransall welcome the NFL moment. Because Caleb Ransall tried to meet him in the hole, and spoiler alert, didn't go the best for Caleb Ransall.
Look, Chris Rodriguez is a nice player. He's a good addition to this team. I don't think he has the home. I think you want home run speed. You want somebody who can scare.
It might
the
be a
day
hot
out
hand
there.
thing as well too, like which hopefully they play into, because when we're talking about Tootin and when he did have the hot hand in the playoff game or another game, keep feeding him the ball.
They didn't give it to him,
and they didn't. But we'll have to see what.
That's going to be interesting to see that. But I'd like to see them play too.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Tootin play. Hey, here you go. You're the starter. Go ahead. Go do something in the preseason.
Do you feel like, I'm curious, as a player, did you feel like if you were ever like kind of fighting for a roster spot, did you feel like what you did in a game was more important in a preseason game, or do you feel like throughout the week was more showing to your coaches?
It's the game all day,
really?
Especially so when I was in Chicago, and it was literally a coin flip between me, a guy by the name of Cornelius Washington, and David Bass. It was between us 3. And, I was definitely one of those try-hard practice guys, right?
Sure.
Like, gave it all his all every single practice. The point of practice, especially in the preseason and training camp, is that it gets you reps for the preseason game. Like, players don't get signed based off of practice reps. Players get more love and more reps in the preseason game because of practice. So coaches will always watch the game film first in terms of like what you're capable of, and that's what they judge you off.
But like you. Now, I work with Kyle Long. You two got into it. Yeah. You got into a fight. You got into a fight at training camp.
Yeah.
But I would rather see you work against him than the 3rd team tackle on another team. So from that standpoint, those practice reps are more important than the game reps.
So it's like I said. I think the practice reps, they get you to the dance. The preseason game. Now, what you do on the dance floor, what kind of moves you have, that's all on you. Like if you can't cut a rug in the preseason game, it doesn't matter.
But if you're working against a guy who's going to be a bouncer and a bartender in 6 weeks, then
doesn't matter if you look great.
Right.
Yeah,
that doesn't matter.
Game.
Now, if you're doing what you're doing against the 1st team tackle, then all of a sudden I go, okay. Or even the swing tackle, then I'll go, okay.
Yeah.
But if you're working against a guy that's not going to be in the league, you kind of got to look at that and go, well, I'd rather see him do it against our starters. And if he goes in against our starters and he's having good practices against those guys, now all of a sudden I say, let's put this up and watch that rep.
I mean, it's like I said, I just think it'll get you, the practice reps get you the game reps. And what you do in the game is really going to be determined on if you can make the team or not. Like, I had great practice reps in the game. I'll never forget it. It was the last preseason game against the Cleveland Browns. Johnny Manziel was the quarterback. Now, but we didn't game plan at all for this at all.
You never do, right?
No,
preseason.
And I don't want to call anybody up. We had like a 70-year-old coach who could care less about us, trying to make a team or anything. So like we had a game plan really ourselves. And Johnny Manziel broke my ankles twice. Like I missed a boot and then I missed a contain and he took off running.
Who were you working against at tackle? Do you remember?
Was
it a starter?
For the Browns?
Was it a starter?
It was a starter for a bit.
Yeah.
And then it was the backup. I don't remember who the starter was because Thomas was long gone by then.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm very curious, like, because I know obviously people fighting for that roster spot going into that final 3rd game of the preseason, how much effect that really has. But I guess a little bit of last year, we kind of saw that with BJ Green and Strigo because they really showed off in that last game against the Dolphins and they ended up kind of working their way in and they were undrafted guys. So
And they had good camps, though.
They did have good camps. It wasn't just the game, but I feel like that was more. So maybe they look at it like that. It's like the cherry on top of the Sunday.
Exactly. And here's the thing, too. Like, say you have 2 guys that are in competition, right? And they both have great preseason games. well, then you start bringing them back up at that camp.
Who was
footage to
every day
see.
the camp
Exactly.
guy, yeah.
Well, it's just like last week when we did that thing with JP and Tony. I said, hey, I can cut your team right now. And he's like, well, did you think Strigal and BJ Green were going to be on the team last year? And I said, I think when we did it, I think you
did.
them
Yeah.
on the team.
Yeah.
Right?
At least one of
we
them.
cut the
You
team. And I think
definitely
we
had
cut-
at least one,
Yeah.
I think, if not
Yeah.
both. Yeah. Because they were kind of, towards the end, they definitely were.
Yeah, because it's not like they're a team full of Myles Garretts or anything.
It was a little lighter in that department last year, so it was a little easier to predict who might make the roster. But yeah, it's been fun so far, and I think that I'm glad they're not doing the cuts this week. I'm glad we're doing it a little bit later.
But I think the joint practices are really good for because the intensity goes up. You're playing somebody else, and you're right. It's not live tackling, which you need to do, I think, more of. It'd be great if these joint practices actually were live tackling.
That'd be one to watch. I would sell tickets to that. I'd come watch that game.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
All right. Well, we're not going to cut it down just yet, but we are going to talk a little bit more about these roster spots coming up here on Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round trip airfare for two, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and DC 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA, member FDIC.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are part of it. The Jaguars' First and Forward Development Partner Program highlights the significant transformative efforts made towards the city of Jacksonville. Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, People's Gas, Start Tech, Miller Electric, AECOM Hunt, and WWK, championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward Program, the First Coast forward together. Visit Jaguars.com/forward together.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nationally ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
They all are very talented, but it's like, all right, how do we get on the same page about what's best for everybody, right? Like, it might be best for Travis to be in press here, but is that what's best for the next guy or the guy inside, or how are we playing two-man stacks and bunches? Being on the same page on all of that stuff, how important that is so that you're not thinking to slow down your play.
Welcome back in. That's Liam Cohen talking about the secondary. Kai here with Austin and Pete. And we talked a little bit about this, but Travis Hunter, he's back out there. He's your number one corner. if you had forgotten. But what does that mean for the rest of the DB room, Pete, when you got your number one corner back? And we've talked a little bit of what the roster might look like. It pushes everybody else down. How does it affect the defensive scheme when he is out there?
Well, again, you can play man on one side of the field and say you go cover him, and you play zone on the other side of the field and take some of the pressure off of those guys. And I think it gives you the ability to play more man, which they didn't play a ton of it. And I think, Tyson Campbell was miscast because he likes to play man to man. And I think in this scheme, I think he'll be able to cover. If you got the best receiver out there, you can go lock him up if you want to. Now, you're not going to do that all the time. Nobody does that all the time, but I think it gives you options.
Yeah, and I think also, keep in mind that Kansas City game, he was taking Travis Kelce a little bit as well, where he's the type of versatile player that whether it's a great tight end, whether, it's a great wide receiver, like you can put him on there, you can kind of set it and forget it, and that makes your job as a safety and the opposite corner so much easier because now you can get help wherever you need it.
Time now for Keeping It Real, brought to you by Serve Pro, like it never even happened. We're talking about the defense, what this looks like on the final roster. Is it 10 DBs if we're including the safeties and the corners? What is this going to look like? Especially because also this is the first we've seen of Caleb Ransaw, who was drafted last year, played corner. They kind of want him as safety now, or vice versa. It depends where they're going to utilize him. But what have you seen from him so far on tape? Because Ransaw, this is kind of the first game action we've seen from him.
He wasn't, like you mentioned earlier, it wasn't great the other day, but again, he's the first time he's out there seeing his head spinning around a little bit. So, I'm curious to see him going forward because I think he's one of those pieces that they'd like to be able to, you play in the dime, they can move him around. He can play in the slot. He can move around. And I think that's something you want to do with him. So I do think the talent's there, and I heard he's had a great camp.
Yeah.
And so he just wasn't flashing the other night, and I expected to see more from him.
And here's the thing, too, about Caleb Ransaw. To me, this is kind of the litmus test of James Gladstone's prowess, right? Because you want to talk about consensus boards and all this stuff. Well, if you remember who went before, or who actually went after Caleb Ransaw, was Xavier Watts. And Xavier Watts was a consensus All-American out of Notre Dame, goes to Atlanta, and he's making a name for himself already going into his second year. Ransaw was the guy where it's like, okay, he's a cornerback, played a little safety, but they have a vision for him. Let's move him to safety and see what happens. He gets hurt, right? And you're not going to fault the GM for that, but I'm really going to pay attention to Caleb Ransaw this season because to me, that was the first kind of out-of-the-box pick. Travis Hunter was Travis Hunter, right? Excitement, all that stuff, sports entertainment, if you want to call it. But Caleb Ransaw, to me, was the first pick where it kind of made you go, I wonder what the plan's going to be here. So I'm really excited to see if that plan come to fruition or not.
By the way, he was on my better than team too.
Caleb Ransaw?
And so was Joe
Monaghan.
Are you getting a cut for this better than
so
or
was
not?
Jonah Monaghan, by the way.
Were they calling and asking for advice?
No,
or they probably just saw the list when it went out.
Are you like an executive vice president junior or something coming up here? Are you
I'm
going to start
wearing a hoodie. I'm like, where's my Lululemon hoodie?
Where's mine?
Yeah. You still haven't gotten yours yet.
Well, we still have to lock some more preseason games in, I guess. We'll see.
One of the other rookies in the DB room, Jalen Husky, to me, I know he made some mistakes out there. I'm not going to say it was perfect, but the effort is there and the athleticism is there. And I think that's really unique because when we talk about what the safety position lacked last season and what ended up hurting them in the playoff game, getting that athleticism, physicality, and speed in the safety room is exciting for me to see.
It's exciting to see, and also the size too, right? We can sit here and say how fast Caleb Ransaw is, which he's got the game speed and everything. Husky has the speed and size, right? So when you talk about, that safety maybe coming on the line of scrimmage a little bit, stopping that run game, Husky's built for that. So, yeah, obviously it wasn't perfect, and then you saw that in special teams a little bit, but I think they really like this guy. He was brought here for a reason, and I think he's going to be competing a lot for maybe that dime package in terms of who that safety is going to be.
Yeah, the concrete is gone. They're not playing in concrete anymore. They can move.
Yeah.
You want your safety, like you said, with the new football the way it is, the new defenses, you want your safeties who can do a lot of different things and can move. And both those guys can really move. Now, Murray, he's so smart that he kind of compensates for his ability not to run like them.
Yeah.
But he's smart.
He's very smart. He feels like him and Jordan Lewis really are the veteran presence that they need in that room and pull everything together.
That's an interesting one, by the way. Jordan Lewis and Jarian Jones.
Oh.
Because who starts there?
I have to imagine it's Lewis, if he's healthy.
But hasn't Jarian Jones been great this offseason? I thought he played great football last year for him.
I would say it's Lewis because, And once again, it's maybe more like the intangibles off the field. I feel like Lewis is kind of like that leader of the locker room a little bit, like in terms of the tenacity that he brings. Not to say Jerry Jones isn't either, because remember what Jerry Jones did when Trevor got cheap shotted.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones was the first guy to go
plays
after.
with an attitude.
No, he does.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but I just feel like Lewis is one of the leaders. I feel like.
What
that
about
locker room.
Jones over Brown? Now you paid Brown.
Yeah, I think it's up for. I think it's up for grabs.
Hasn't Jones had a really good offseason and camp?
You know what also we completely have forgotten about is Antonio Johnson, who was like the most improved player last year and is much more physical.
And he's going to be used near the line of scrimmage. So like when he comes down, that's what he is. When he comes down, then you could play Murray and Ransall or Murray back there together. Okay. So I think that gives them some flexibility as well. But as far as Jarian Jones, now he was really good last year, surprised a ton of people, played so really with confidence and did a lot of good things. Now, I've heard when I was here in the summer, in May, he was great. And everything I'm hearing from is that he's been really good so far with an attitude, playing with a real attitude. So how do you keep him off the field?
Well, and let me ask you, I mean, because right now he's slated like at that nickel. Do you think he's more of a corner or nickel? Pete, like, would you?
Where would you put him?
I think he's more of a corner.
You think he's more of a corner? Yeah.
So
who
where
would
do you
play him
him
over?
though?
Yeah.
Where do you play him?
I mean, well, Hunter's obviously getting the starting corner
Hunter's
reps,
one, and you paid Monteric Brown.
Yeah.
But if Jarian Jones is better than Monteric Brown, I don't care. You still play him. You play the best players.
Yeah.
You play the one who's going to. Monteric Brown is good when they zone up. That's what he's good at it. And he got better as a man-to-man guy last year. Because you remember, for all those years when he was trying to play nickel and he was covering guys across the field, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He couldn't run. He talked about playing slow. He played slow.
Well,
but he fit what they did last year.
And that's the thing with this coaching staff, too, as well, is the best players are going to play. Right, like I
They've
get it.
Proven that they don't care.
And Jordan Lewis, it may have been brought here for a reason to be a leader and stuff. But like, if Jarian Jones outplays him, there's not a reason to think that Jarian Jones won't be the starter. Then
is Jordan Lewis banged up a little bit?
I think he obviously had the foot injury last year and then was rehabbing in the offseason. I think they've been doing a little bit of the work back in the way that they kind of utilize Armstead, which is like practice, have a couple vet days off. That's kind of what I think they've been doing because we didn't see him. Obviously didn't dress and play, but I don't think he participated in the joint practice either.
Lower leg injury.
Yes, upper body, lower leg.
Lower leg.
Veteran rest day. One of those guys. But I'm curious what you've been to some of the practice, Austin. Jabbar Muhammad has looked great in training camp practice.
Yeah.
Then he gets picked on heavy in a game.
Yeah.
Is that one of those ones where it's like, oh, you're showing in camp, but then when the game comes around, it doesn't quite work?
About his performance against the Saints. There was some bad, but then he finished good, right?
And that's what that name of a DB is like.
I know. It
short
was
memory.
And let's go back to, I think that was the first run play of the game for the Saints where, and like, I understand, like, he was out of position, but it wasn't just him.
No,
right?
there was
Combs was out of position too.
Combs
misses the tackle.
Right.
Strigo doesn't stay at home,
He comes inside.
And then it's supposed to be Muhammad's job to make him right when he goes inside, and he doesn't make him right. So there's just a miscommunication and everything. He had the pass interference too, I believe. Muhammad did.
He did.
Yeah, it was
towards the end.
It was good, but he finished strong. So like, is that what I want out there? Week in, week out, probably not. There's something that have to be cleaned up. But once again, like, I'm not sure I'm going to count on him to be like my starting cornerback.
But you guys have been here for all the practices and stuff. But in May, they were raving about him.
Yeah,
he's very smart.
Early on in camp, they were giving him. But I guess the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been as.
My concern is that he's super smart. He uses the sideline really well because the size isn't there, and I think that's what showed up to me a little bit in the game was he was just getting worked. Like they were just picking on him a little bit.
Yeah,
and he doesn't run that well, I don't think, and so
no, he doesn't have catch up. So if he's got a bad
special teams,
if he goes the wrong way, he's not getting back in the play.
Yeah, so
but I see what you're saying. Special teams wise, can he perform on special teams?
Can he be a gunner or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Might be a question mark.
I mean, they got
forward.
gunners. They got Lane is one gunner, and who's the other gunner? It's because they have their guys. So I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do with them. He's going to have, and they kept him on the practice squad, right?
They did last year, and they talked about his improvement. So maybe it's another practice squad year.
I don't know if
you'll
keep the sixth corner.
I don't think you will. When we've started looking at this, I don't think you will.
If you do, you'd make him like a special teams specialist, right? And
well, that's what they kept. If you keep Lane at safety, that's what you're doing with Lane because he's the special teams.
He's the special teams guy. He's like what
that's
your Daniel
what
Thomas was.
I'm gonna bring this guy up real quick because I feel like he stood out in special teams and also on defense. Yasir Abdullah.
Oh my goodness!
Who I forgot. I'll be honest. I kind of forgot all about him.
I thought he might be one of the
I liked
bubble
him
guys.
when he came out too.
Yeah. Was he one of your?
Yes, he
better
was.
I bet he was, Pete.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and by the way, he
We
hasn't,
gotta go find. I'm looking up
he
this
hasn't
list.
done what
I
I
don't
thought
know.
he would do.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be better than that.
I don't know if they've utilized him a ton.
No.
To say that, but he has obviously had a huge tackle on special teams. He got the strip sack, and he has looked so impressive. I don't think you can cut him at this point. Just his contributions on special teams alone.
And being that strong side backer where you're not going to be utilized a lot in base defense 4-3 just because everyone's going nickel and dime now.
So how do you keep three there?
Well, he's in competition with Jalen McLeod, and like McLeod's been hurt. Like
Do you think they keep all three?
I don't. There's no way.
I think Yasser Abdullah. Like, and I don't think you're going to make him like the special team special because you have like one specialist guy you can say. I just think he's going to be the depth right now unless McLeod comes back.
This regime didn't draft Abdullah.
It doesn't matter, Pete.
They drafted McLeod, though.
Okay,
They did.
and that's fine. But this regime also shows if you're playing well, they're going to find a spot for you.
I mean, right now you would keep Abdullah over McLeod.
I would currently just because I've seen it because McLeod was hurt.
Yeah, the play he made the other day where he came up the field, missed the sack, came back and got and forced the fumble.
Stellar.
I mean, that was good. And then he made a good special teams play. He's on the team.
Honestly, he was holding that whole defense together at one point because it was looking pretty ugly. So and special teams for that matter. So it would have been real bad if they hadn't had him out there.
He's on the team.
Is this the year? Do you think all the draft picks make it? This year's draft picks?
Well, let's go through them. The two tight ends are making it.
Yes.
Husky's making it.
Regis is making it.
Wide receivers are making it.
To me, it comes down to Wesley Williams and Durfee.
I think Wesley Williams.
Durfee, yeah.
Wesley Williams makes it.
I think Wesley Williams makes it too. I think Durfee gets put on the practice squad.
I agree. And then the two wide receivers.
And Parker Hughes got hurt and is on IR.
So he's on IR, so he's done.
Yep. So it'll be down to Durfee.
I
think he's
practice squad.
Because if you get 5 reps in the preseason game, that leads me to believe he's not fully
I think
healthy.
he's hurt as well. Yes.
Yeah, he's practice squad guy. Yeah. So Williams will make the team. He was the 4th rounder.
4th rounder.
Yeah, he's making the team. Okay. And he's a big body. They want the big. They love their big ends that can play the run. That's that's what they want. So he'll make the team. But yeah, so not all the draft picks.
Not all.
But if both wide receivers make, which they should, then
that's still
that's
pretty
a
good numbers.
draft.
Absolutely.
Well, and with Durfee, like, listen, he was a 7th round pick. Like, not every 7th round pick is going to make a roster, unfortunately. You know,
that's true.
Yeah, and how many ends you're going to keep? 5 ends probably. So you got Trayvon,
maybe 6.
You got Trayvon. You got Josh Hines Allen, Strigal,
Strigal.
BJ Green, Wesley Williams is 5.
Yeah.
And that's the 5.
And if you want to count the edge, Gardeck, but I think you're going to count him as
He's a
strong side.
Yeah, so that's 5. And then inside you keep Hamilton, the other starter, Matt Dickerson.
No, you did not.
Armstead.
No, you did not.
Armstead.
Eric Armstead is what you meant to say first.
I think Armstead's going to be a situational guy.
You think so?
Yeah. I think.
Well, he's had a heck of a camp. I'll give him that.
Armstead,
if that's a situational player,
Dickerson.
he's had
Armstead
quite
or Dickerson.
a camp for himself.
That's 3. And then who's Regis?
You
is 4.
You get Rook.
Rook and Regis.
Yeah. Also, too, I'd be remiss if I hadn't mentioned Brian Thomas Jr. on defense.
They love him there too. Yeah, they do like some of those other guys. Those are practice squad guys. If you can keep them, if you can steal them.
If you keep 10, that's your 10, right?
I want to quickly bring up. You mentioned Matt Dickerson. I want to say this real quick because a lot of people were surprised he didn't play at all.
They love him.
So I asked Foye Lukin, if you talked to Foye at all?
No.
So Foye is like, he's going to be a GM one day. He's actually worked with the Timberwolves a little bit in their front office. Like, he has aspirations to be a GM. Why not a coach? I have no idea. But I asked him, like, who's the guy that nobody talks about that we should be talking about? And like within a second, Matt Dickerson said that the guy does all the dirty work. He's an absolute beast at defensive tackle and plays with a hand balance that we need on defense. So like,
I will tell you right now, I think he's going to start games this year.
Yeah.
Well,
everyone's high on him, man.
I mean, they do love him, and I think they'll rotate. So we'll go with that for now until they officially say that, Pete, because I'm not going there. PRI Productions, a Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com to learn more. When we come back, we're going to get some fan questions, and Pete and Austin are going to answer them for you. Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Game day means it's time to get loud, get proud, and get real. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Deep Eddy Vodka brings real flavor made with real ingredients to every tailgate, watch party, and post-game toast. Handcrafted in small batches in Austin, Texas, Deep Eddy Vodka is distilled 10 times and is made with purified Texas water, real fruit juice, and pure cane sugar. Wherever you're cheering on the Jaguars, make every moment a real one with Deep Eddy Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stay drink responsibly. Deep Eddy Vodka is a product of Deep Eddy Distilling Company, Austin, Texas. 35 to 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn.
What's Here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's Here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's Here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's Here is Wolfson Children's Hospital, with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Football and Duval. What a perfect pairing and battle cry. When it comes to a tasty tailgate, the Dailies Duval Sub delivers. It's your perfect pregame meal on Jaguars game day. My favorite, the Duval Sub. Ham, turkey, cheddar, and habanero cheese. Fixins fresh and delicious. Touchdown, taste buds. It's the best sub for any season, especially Jaguar season. The Duval, only at Dailies.
PRI Productions is the official game day production partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hi, I'm Randy Goodwin, president and owner of PRI Productions. Chances are, if you've been in Jacksonville over the last 30 years, you've seen our work, from corporate and social events to concert production and much more. We have the equipment and expertise to make your next event memorable. So call the experts at the Jaguars Call. PRI Productions, bringing your ideas to life.
Frank Franzi here for Coyle & Sons Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember Morton Anderson missing a chip shot field goal that launched the Jags into the playoffs in 1996? You know who doesn't miss? Coyle & Sons Fencing. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821. That's 904-356-4821. Or visit CoyleJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. Coyle & Sons, keeping your business and home safe for nearly a century.
I feel great. I haven't been on the football field in 9 months, so, going out there and being able to get those reps, it feels great. It's a lot of people out there saying, oh, he caught a ball in travel. I mean, I ain't been on the football field in 9 months, what you expect, but, I just take that and just continue to go and work.
Travis Hunter, wide receiver and DB, a little bigger, a little stronger, healthy out there.
He did a press conference, huh?
He did.
Wow. Hey, they let him become a big guy now, huh? He's let him go up.
He's healthy. He's back with us. He loves to talk.
They protected him for a whole damn year.
Oh, Pete, he's on Twitch, man. He does his own streaming.
He's already talking enough. He's doing his own live streams.
He needs to be more out there. I think he needs to talk more. And
they need to quit protecting him.
They need to quit protecting him.
Pete, you're not looking in the right spots.
He is out there.
Huh? You're not looking on the right spots.
He's got his own channels.
You're still on Facebook trying to find people, right? This guy's on Twitch and stuff, man.
No, I think he needs to do more of that stuff right there.
And I think we will see much more of Travis Hunter this season.
He has to do the JP hands on the podium too.
He was ready.
He has to have command a little more, right? Yeah.
Okay. JP hands.
Yeah, JP hands.
We got some fan questions for you, Pete. These are from a little bit of all of the offseason. So, is Travis Hunter actually going to play on both sides of the ball? Because we get this question literally constantly. Explain it to him, Pete. Just tell him.
Yes, he is. He's going to be a number one corner and a spot-in wide receiver. So third down, goal line, that kind of thing. I think that's the plan. It always was the plan. We had all these reports. That's why he should be frustrated by what he hears, because so many different reports. And Cam Wolf, I think, did it one time, and I said, Cam, I said that last year during the season.
Cam should know. He's here a lot too.
Yeah, I like Cam, but I said, Cam, I've been saying that since last September. He's going to be a corner who spots in at wide receiver. That's the plan. It always was the plan. And so I think, yes, he will play on both sides of the ball.
I think we've all known that for a while. What it ends up looking like, I do think also it's going to be offensively a little bit situational to the game, because depending what the opponent's doing, depending what's in the game plan for the week. So nobody panic if week 1 it doesn't look the way you think it's going to look.
Well, and keep in mind too, every NFL player's got a certain ego to them. I mean, the ego of Travis Hunter came into the league, and what did the GM say about him? He's going to change the game, right? So you can't be James Gladstone and say you're going to change the game, and
then
you're going to change the game on defense, and then we'll put you in for 2 reps on offense. Like, that's not how it's going to be.
Give me his offensive numbers at the end of the year.
Ooh. We'll write it down so we can bring their receipts back.
Yeah, I know, right?
We want receipts.
Okay,
in January, you're
too?
getting receipts.
All right, so I'm going to say it's going to be an average. Let's go 3 catches a game. So that's going to put us
36-ish?
We'll
or
put
30?
No,
33?
3 a game. So
3 a game.
51.
51.
Well, that sounds high.
51 receptions. This is going to be like a triple lock if I get this right. Let's go with 6 touchdowns. And then yards, I mean, take it for what you want, you know.
Are all the touchdowns on? These are all offensive touchdowns.
Oh,
They're not pick six
Yeah,
situations.
it's not pick
okay.
six, yeah.
Okay, you got to come up with yards too, because I'm going to do it too.
Okay.
All right.
The yards and 2 I need. Let's go like 580.
On 50, so he's a 10-yard catch guy.
He's working some bubble screens and stuff.
See, I think the
they
catches.
like the little end arounds
I think the
too.
catches are going to be like 36.
Okay.
I think the yards will be a little higher than what per catch. I'm going to give him 13. So multiply whatever that is. 13 times 36.
You're asking the wrong person for math.
Math is not. We're not. We'll have to call that one in. I'll get you your math after.
Creative writing
It's about
over
4. Just I'll give him 430 or something.
Okay,
like that.
430.
And then
touchdowns, the most important thing, Pete.
6. I like 6.
Okay.
I was going to say 6 anyway. So we're in agreement on that one.
I mean, I feel like you got to change it up, Pete. But if you want to ride my coattails, so be it.
Okay, I'll make it 7.
There we go.
7. Because I do think he's going to be in the red zone a lot.
All
So
there you go.
36. Actually, make it 40. We'll make it a round number. 40.
40 catches.
40 catches, 7 touchdowns, and I'm going to give him.
I believe someone was in my ear saying 460 something.
Make it 500.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And the time will tell. Time will tell.
Guy, do you want to take part or not?
No, I'm
The last
game,
game,
I want to see
the
what you
last
guys
game
got.
he played, he had over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean,
He did?
Yeah.
Against Rams defense.
Which
Yeah.
was not very good, the back end, which is why they went out and got 2 corners.
I didn't say nothing. All right, Pete, who are the 5 offensive linemen that you would start on week 1 for this team?
Is Van Lanen healthy?
Van Lanen is healthy and available.
Okay, it would be
This is say everybody's healthy.
Harrison at left tackle, Pregnon at left guard.
Week 1, you ready?
Hainsey will start week 1.
Okay.
I'd probably be okay with that. Cleveland would be the right guard, and Van Lanen would be the right tackle.
I'm going Harrison, left tackle. I'm going Ezra. Like, once again, I need to see more from Pregnon. So give me Ezra at left guard, Hainsey at center.
He hasn't played.
I know.
But if he's
healthy, right?
So he's healthy.
Okay, so then
Healthy as
McCary,
he- yeah.
McCary, and then let's go Cole Van Lanen at the right tackle.
So you haven't changed one position on the
If everyone's
interior
healthy, why not?
from a team that
Run
didn't
them back. Well,
from
he
the team that
swapped his
didn't run the
tackles,
ball
but yeah.
well last
Well,
year.
yeah, I swapped the tackles from
No,
Harrison on the left. I swapped the beat.
Think about that.
What do you got?
Austin, you
What do
were
you got?
here. You were here in the beginning
I was.
of the show, and you
Yeah.
said they got to
They
be a
have to be
top
more
10
physical.
rushing team.
Of course.
So you haven't changed the thing.
I haven't, because apparently Travis Etienne wasn't worth the money, and now we got 2 and is going to be, be
He
getting
hasn't
88 yards
changed
per
the
carry,
thing.
according to you.
Austin,
so we're good.
You
What
have
do
to
got?
change something.
I don't got to change anything, man. Hey, it's going to be another year in the system, Pete. Let's see
No,
what
you
they
got to
got.
put it. You got to put a brood. You got to put a brood in there.
Okay,
you got to put
let's go
Pregnon in
put
there.
Pregnon in there then, just to make my son happy. He's a giant Oregon fan. Yeah,
He is.
there you go.
All right, Pregnon's making
And
some
by
jumps.
the way, it wouldn't shock me at some point during the season. I don't know if it's going to happen early in the season. If it was Pregnon, Monheim, and Milam.
I think Milam is going to be the first. Like, I know you guys want Pregnon in at left. I think Milam, depending on health and other things, I think Milam might be in at right guard before. If you want Pregnon certainly on the left, I think the right guard might be the open spot.
If McCary can't play,
yes,
right away, who plays? And I don't know if he's necessarily going to have the guard job anyway. So who is the starting right guard?
I think you go Milam then, right?
I think it's Milam, unless you want to move, unless you want to.
So
Because I feel like also with the offensive line, it's like you don't want to start moving everything around, right?
okay,
That's the thing they hate doing.
Let's just say Pregnon won the left guard spot.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cleveland start over Milam at right guard? He hadn't worked.
I give him the chance
Has
to.
he worked there though? Again, I
could have swore in Minnesota he might have been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But like everyone swears by his athleticism. Well, let's put it to the test. Can you play the opposite side? I would lean on the experience of Ezra. Because
ahead of Milam.
Ahead of Milam.
Yeah. So
if you had Pregnon,
if you were going to put a rookie in at left,
and I think Pregnon and Harrison next to each other would give you a big physical left side you could run behind consistently. Whereas if Cleveland's in there, it's not a big physical left side. He's not as big. He's not as physical. He's athletic and probably smarter right now in terms of the offense. But I think Pregnon's supposedly done a really good job picking up the offense too. There are little things that he's got to work on, but I want power in there. He's powerful.
No, hey, I get it. You saw one preseason game, and we're changing the whole roster around.
No, but he's supposedly been really good. He's supposedly been really good physical in practices.
Absolutely.
So he came in preaching. They got to get to become a top 10 team, and then he kept the interior the same.
Yeah, because I'm confident in Tootin, man. You think Tootin's going to hit the hole at 88 miles an hour?
You sold us on Tootin.
And he was killing him on Tootin, too.
No, I was sold on Tootin. Pete sold me on Tootin.
You convinced us on Tootin, so
I think Pete, another year of this offense to be more dynamic, the 13 personnel, the 12 personnel, and everything, I think that's only going to help things with that offensive line. So I think you can keep that offensive line the same, bring in some more wrinkles here with motions and 13 personnel and everything with these tight ends that can block. I think you might have something.
And you played defensive line,
of course.
And so when you played a guy and you looked across and you saw a guy like Pregnon standing next to Harrison, and you went,
goodness,
he looks like a guard.
They look the part. They look the part,
doesn't he? Pregnon looks the.
He looks the part. But number one, I wasn't worried about guards because I was worried about tight ends. But here's the thing though, and I've spoken this before a little bit with this 12 and 13 personnel. I played against Kubiak when he was in Houston calling plays. And, I always, you hated playing against Peyton Manning because Peyton Manning could check out the line and beat you. Kubiak's offense was the worst to play against, not because of the players they had. They had Owen Daniels at tight end, and I think Garrett Graham was another guy. Aaron Foster was an okay running back. But it was their scheme that I hated playing against. That 13 personnel where you don't know if it's going to be run or pass. You're constantly playing on your heels because everything's so disguised in play action. That's where I think that the advantage is going to be for this offensive line. So if they can bring that 13 personnel and keeping defenses on their heels, then yeah, I'll run it back with the same guys if they're all healthy because I'm confident in the scheme more than I am.
Yeah, but you still want to be physical. That's why they couldn't run in short yardage last year. They weren't physical enough. You want to be physical. It's all nice to do the, getting them out, getting, pulling them and moving them and everything.
I get it. Pregnon had one great play where he pancaked the guy, and now all of a sudden
there were other plays where he was.
I thought he was better. Ready, Pete. I got you.
I thought it was better.
I'm ready. It's that gold jacket fitted.
All right, we touched on this a little bit. I'm not touching that.
He didn't want to change. They got to be a top 10 rushing team, but he doesn't make a change.
They're changing the scheme, Pete.
All right, how many edge rushers will make this final roster? We talked this through earlier. Is it 5 or 6?
5.
I think 5. Yeah, 5.
And then we think Durfee's on
Gardeck
out.
kind of counts as
Gardeck's the linebacker.
Yeah, but he counts as like a guy you could count as a rusher too.
Yeah, I think Durfee they're going to stash away on the practice squad and go from there.
All right, and our final question from the fans. Pete, what did you think of JP's press conference?
Typical JP cheese.
I mean, do you think he put that in the contract that he needed an introductory press conference? Because I've never seen such a thing. Look at this guy.
Look at him.
It is element.
You know what's funny? I never see guys who get hired to do the play-by-play doing press conferences. Like Tampa hired a guy that was doing the University of Washington.
Yes.
And he didn't do a press conference.
It's usually like an interview, I think. It's not normally at the podium. But the best part is it was right after their head coach spoke. Yeah. It was like in the same stream. Head coach had his presser.
And then they did a bunch of stories. I've read a bunch of stories on him, too.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm happy for JP. I really am. He's wanted to do that for a long time.
Absolutely.
I know he finished second in some jobs and stuff. So this is good for him. I'm happy for him. I really am.
But just so we're clear, because I'm not trying to be like the longest person here on the Jaguars Happy Hour. Are you good for this year? Like you don't have any aspirations to go to like the 60 minutes or something? Like I'm Pete Prisco, 60 minutes clock going.
I'm not going away. I'm the sole survivor.
You are.
The original show was
driven the other two away.
Yeah, I drove him away. Tony has a good job. See, I'm a career maker.
Yeah, you're going to do great things for us as well.
You guys are going to go somewhere else.
Perfect. We appreciate you, Pete, as always. We're got one more segment here. We're going to go around the NFL, talk about some of the headlines for you on Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. Round trip airfare for two, hotel accommodations, and tickets to the Jaguars game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and DC 18 and older. The Everbank London Getaway Sweepstakes from June 29 through August 27. For official rules, which include alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank, NA, member FDIC.
NFL fans, when it's time to get Jaguars tickets, you can tackle game day with total certainty with Ticketmaster. With 100% verified tickets available all season long, you can count on getting in with ease and spend time focusing on the good stuff. Even if you're headed to the game last minute, you can still score seats. Want to meet up inside the stadium with your crew? Transferring your tickets is an easy handoff. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
Hey Jaguar fans, get next level performance with Renewal by Andersen Replacement Windows and Doors. Right now, score 20% off your custom window and door replacement project, plus 12 months special financing. Defend your home against Florida weather with our Acclaim Impact Windows, built for the storm, backed by the Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free design consultation and put a winning team on your side. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Here we go, the last play of the game. Inside, no, he kept it on his own read. And that one's knocked away, and the Jags are going to win it. The Jags knock it away, Muhammad knocks it away, and the Jags are swarming him, and they win this first preseason game of the year, 24-20. Well, how good is that?
Frank Frangie with the call of the game, presented by Coyle Fence since 1927. We've been around the block and fenced it too. At least in the preseason, it's not always the best product, but we did get a pretty good game out of things in the end there. So that was interesting.
A weird play call for them. They cut the field to one receiver.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're dumb.
I don't know. They went for it. Let's hear a little bit from Coach Cohen, because he talked today specifically, and I think he kind of changed his mind up. Originally, I don't think they were planning on playing the starters at all during the preseason, but now, considering what he's seen and where they're at with practice, he says we're likely going to see him on Friday.
I'm trending towards us potentially playing Friday night a little bit with the ones. Yeah, so I think that's the goal right now, is to look at potentially playing them a little Friday night. You know, you just look at the amount of padded days that we actually have left until, the game week, and it's very few and far between. So you set a schedule, you set it, and you're like, well, timing and circumstances, things change, and when you have to pivot a little bit, and I think we need a little bit more work in terms of coming off of the Saints joint and the Saints game. I think we just need a little bit more padded work against each other, good on good.
Pete, I don't think it needs to be a lot, but I think we need to see at least one or two drives out of the offense, and then whatever they need to do with the defense.
But what if they have a good day on Wednesday of work against? I bet he changes his mind.
I don't know.
He left it open-ended.
Right, he did, didn't he?
He did a little bit, but also I feel like, listen, like when it comes to physicality, like you just can't hope. Like you have to see it for yourself.
And they cut practice today. They had pads on or shoulder pads on for a little bit, and then they took them off for the second half of practice. So it wasn't even a full day today either.
And you were there. I wasn't there in New Orleans when they had that joint practice, but by a lot of indications, it sounded like New Orleans got the better of them in the trenches a little bit. Not necessarily for the whole practice.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the offense, like we're talking about, the offensive line was similar situation because they're all banged up. So it was second, third team out there, and I think. It was not as bad as Miami last year, if you remember that joint practice. That was actually I was like, this is concerning me. Level of joint practice. It was not bad like that. I would say it was a little bit more 50-50, which is probably how you want to split it. But yeah, they definitely could have been better.
And if you're trying to be a physical team, like the only way to get physical is to be physical in practice. Like you just can't hope it's going to work out week 1 against Cleveland. So, I mean, a lot of people I've talked to are kind of shocked that Liam Cohen's even considering going with the preseason ones and everything because it's very Sean McVay-esque, right? They don't do any kind of, preseason with their ones. But it goes to show you the physicality isn't where it needs to be. So if it's not where it needs to be, then get the most out of these guys in the one, in preseason games, see what they got.
But he did leave himself an out.
But he left himself an out.
Maybe this is a motivation tactic.
Right.
What if we're tapping in? What if he's like, I'm at this press, I'm going to say this.
By the way, I have
no
problem with it because I'm in agreement with you. I don't think these guys hit enough anymore, and it's sloppy. And
it doesn't have to be 2-a-days, but they do need to get after it because I think we've seen it for several teams. The first couple weeks don't look the way the rest of the season looks, and that's for a lot of teams that start slow.
And again, we go back to the offensive line. The reason offensive line play, one of the reasons offensive line play stinks in this league as compared to what it used to be is they don't hit.
Correct.
You have to be able to, 5 guys have to be able to work and sync and hit, and you can't simulate that with dummies.
And I get it. Like, you're getting great work at dummies and everything. You see with the tackling. They have like these new like high-tech tackling dummies now like rugby players are using. Those are great and everything, but you can't substitute for live contact. No. You simply can't. There's nothing that you can do that substitute for that. So I'm not mad at it now. If somebody gets hurt, then I'm going to question and be like, well, what are you thinking? But the way that it sits right now, yeah.
But you even mentioned you want to see the backs. The backs got to run.
Backs got to run. Yeah.
All right, let's go around the NFL, brought to you by Paramount Plus, the streaming home of live local NFL.
Hey, I know Paramount Plus.
Do you know them?
I know them.
You know
yeah,
anybody
I know
over
them
there?
well.
Okay, cool.
You can watch me on Paramount Plus all the time.
Oh,
Let's go,
we
Pete.
love the plug, Pete. I'll go over some of the scores in the preseason. It's preseason scores, so bear with me. But also some news today. Von Miller going to be joining the Cowboys.
I think that's a good move for the Cowboys because Von is a pro.
Absolutely.
And Von had 9 sacks last year.
Isn't that crazy? I saw that.
Yeah. And I've known Von a long time. I saw him at the Combine. I said, where are you going to go? He goes, maybe Washington back. They didn't take him back. They signed some other guys. And then he thought maybe Denver, but they didn't take him back. So he ended up at the Cowboys. I think it's a great situation for
It's
him.
not bad. At Quinnen Williams now. Rashawn Gary gets added from the Green Bay Packers. Obviously strength to power there, and they got the speed. Hopefully it's still
They got
Von
the kid
Miller.
from UCF. They drafted Lawrence in the first. I mean, they got some players on that. That defense is going to be better. Cowboys, watch out for the Cowboys.
Pete, is there a backup quarterback out there that you would go get? Anybody you've seen in the preseason so far? Because I know a lot of these matchups are preseason guys.
I would look at the third quarterback in New Orleans because I think Zach Wilson at least has the arm strength to throw the football. I would explore Will Levis because I think he's going to be somewhere else. I don't think they would trade him to him. So there are guys out there. Yeah.
I'll take a look at Minshew too as well, just because I think his IQ is what you want.
Now.
Huh? You can't come home.
Can't come home.
Is this home for him now?
No, but I mean, he was here.
I know. All right, Lions and Bengals. Bengals got the Lions, Packers 9, Steelers 28. How are the Steelers going to look this year? What do you think this is going to look like?
They're going to be the Steelers. They're going to be tough, feisty, physical, and probably win 8 or 9 games and maybe sneak into the playoffs. That's
8 or 9.
That's who
Can
they
you imagine?
are. That's who they are.
That's how they always are. That Monday Night Football matchup here in December is one I've definitely got circled on the calendar. I'm excited to see that for sure.
They've had some good history against the Steelers on Monday Night Football.
I got a tie between the Colts and the Patriots. What are the Patriots going to look like this season?
I think they're going to take a step back. I think they won a lot of close games against an easy schedule last year, and that's usually a combination. And plus, by the way, they didn't play very well on offense in the postseason, and even at the second half against Buffalo in the last week. They kind of figured out Drake May a little bit. I'm curious to see what he does.
I'm curious to see Drake May obviously shined at certain points, and now what this is going to look like. Part of that's his line and what the offensive line is going to look like, but that's a question mark I have as well. Chargers 27, Texans 7. Cardinals got their first preseason win over the Raiders.
Love looked good, but they ran him into the ground, and he had a high ankle sprain.
How serious of an injury is that?
High ankle sprain. So you're talking about
Not something you
couple
want.
months at least.
Yeah.
It can bug you for a while.
And running backs coming off high ankle sprain, if you look at the history, it's not great.
What do you think of Mendoza?
I thought Mendoza was really good.
Yeah.
I thought
Should he
Mendoza was
start?
really good. Yes. Right away. Put him in. Put him in there.
Throw
Is
him
there
in the
still
fire.
time to go back on, or are they going to still go with week
They're going
one?
What's the point? Just answer me this. What's the point of starting Kirk Cousins? All you're doing is
Trying to
delaying
give more
it.
confidence to Mendoza.
But all you're doing is delaying the inevitable. Every quarterback I've ever talked to, every single one of them, I said, do you learn more playing in one game than you do sitting watching for 6 or 7 games? He goes, absolutely, one game. Just play them. You learn.
I guess why
I
you bring
think-
him in the first place.
What's the
probably then,
concern?
right?
You're going to ruin his psyche?
Well, you know what the concern is? 'Cause I saw it happen with Blaine Gabbert. That's the concern.
Well, Blaine Gabbert was, and I thought Blaine Gabbert was going to be good, but
So did I. I saw him in
Chuck
practice.
and duck,
Well,
Chuck and duck.
Because they threw him in, he wasn't ready, and you saw it happen.
He could have waited 4 years and he wasn't going to be ready.
Okay.
But you either have it or you don't.
True.
You either have it or you don't. And I think the sooner you get on with it. In fact, Doug Peterson came in and did some stuff with
I
us.
heard he's joined you guys.
Yeah,
There you
and,
go.
and he came in and did some stuff with me, and we were talking about it, and he played Carson Wentz right away.
Yeah.
And his whole philosophy was, the sooner you find out
Know what
about
you
the
have.
guy, the better it is, because now you're just, let's just say the Raiders won some games. Mendoza's going to be, and Cousins plays pretty good. Mendoza's going to be pushed off even further. So you've got to wait half a season at least to find out what he is.
Well, the way Kirk Cousins and Max Crosby are fighting too, I mean, who knows how long Kirk
Right.
Cousins is going to last, man. That was crazy.
I'd start the kid right away.
One more one for you. Titans and 49ers. They had a joint practice and a game. What are the Titans going to look like this season?
I tell you what, Cam Ward did not look good. He did not
Even
look
with
good.
his
the other-
new offensive coordinator, it's
He
not going to be
did-
good.
And I think Brian Dable's a good coach, but Cam Ward held the ball like he still does, and that was, if you're a Titans fan, that was a little concerning. Watch, I expected more from him this year.
Do you think that's a situational issue where he's just still nervous from all the beatings he took last year? Can
Maybe.
he get that out of his head?
Maybe, but also, Dable puts a lot on his quarterback, so maybe it's first game, it's a little overwhelming for him.
Keep in mind, though, Pete, they cut out seed oils this year in the cafeteria.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Saleh got on that, so I could pay some
There
dividends.
are no good snacks in that building, so
No.
he won't be distracted by that
I mean,
at all.
what do you have in there if there's no seed oils?
I don't know.
It's a great
Fruit,
question.
everything.
Vegetables,
I'd
that's it,
rather.
right?
I guess so.
You can't take my Uncrustables from me. I won't let you have them.
I
No,
mean,
those are
hey,
good.
Pete, we've come a long way from fast food
They
Fridays
got
in
new.
Kansas
They
City,
got
by the
new.
way.
They got new Uncrustables.
I don't wanna hear about
they're
that.
No,
No.
they're
What do they got?
they're NFL. I think Travis Kelce's big on it. They're promoting it. It's called.
I can tell.
It's healthier. It's healthier.
I can tell from Travis Kelce.
Do you ever eat Uncrustables?
I
Gentlemen,
love Uncrustables, man. Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Raspberry's the best one, by the way.
Uncrustable debates will go on until next week. Thank you for having me, Austin, Pete, myself. This
You're
has been
it now.
Jaguars
Yeah.
Happy
You're
Hour.
having us.
You're JP.
You're
Who?
the point guard. Pete, are you being the flush next week too as well? Or
No,
are you
I'm not.
Back to the video.